All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. It is Tuesday, June 2nd. We are live. Not too much has broadly changed from the morning. Actually, NVIDIA went red in one of the most hilarious ways you could imagine NVIDIA going red. We were at 232 as we close for the day in the next 12 minutes. We are 221.48. They tried to take us up. Didn't work. NVIDIA's red. Outside of NVIDIA, you got a lot of different assets kind of holding on to some of their momentum. Google as well. They tried to bring her back to green, and they're taking her down right here, down 3.6%. Obviously, the big news over the past 24 hours has been the dilution from Google going into CapEx. So you had Google recover. Didn't fully hold on to the recovery. You had NVIDIA break out to almost the levels it was at a couple of weeks ago. Was not able to hold on at all. Wasn't really a headline to go back up. Not really seeing a headline to go back down. But nonetheless, wasn't able to hold through. S&P, basically all-time highs. 759.40, just below 760. Palantir is down. Your Shopify's are down. Your Zetas, your Reddits, your Figmas. Lots of these names ended up taking the hit today as MRVL, which was the biggest name over the past 24 hours in terms of the percentage increase, 31%, 287.8. Green on the day. Every single dip has been bought when it comes to MRVL. And it's quite incredible to witness how this is playing out. But again, obviously, Jensen last night called MRVL the next trillion-dollar company. And without any headline, the market was excited enough to say, okay, you know what? MRVL is the next trillion-dollar company. So this one has been holding on 30.9%. You had a bunch of other different AI CapEx beneficiary names go up. The space names kind of came back a little bit. The worst names of the day, Google, NVIDIA, and then none other than BTC. This one's a tough one. It is a tough one to see this one coming down, but it is indeed coming down. Again, no major headlines on crypto outside of the broader argument that people would rather buy AI. And you're seeing that one take a pretty ugly beating right there below 67. HPE, still great earnings from last night. That's up 18%. Akamai, great earnings, or not great earnings, but great updates this morning with the partnership with NVIDIA. That's up 4.2%. Fastly actually was up 18% on the day. Fastly, now it's up on 9.2%. Hit 22, now at 20.8, but you're seeing the CDNs get a little bit more love. And then obviously MRVL catching that bid. So these are the companies that we have for earnings today. You have Ulta, which is a makeup company. That one basically red on the day by about 1% year to date. Ulta, it is about 19.9% down. So Ulta down about 20% year to date. SoFi Hood as well kind of got hit today with the broader SaaS sell-off as that was affecting fintechs. NVIDIA right here down about 1.2%. It was kind of funny that MRVL was up 30 and then NVIDIA was down 1, even though Jensen said, MRVL could be a $1 trillion company. And the market said, all right, well, it's $200 billion. NVIDIA's $5 trillion. We're going to take some of the money, put into MRVL. So NVIDIA is still getting hit along with some of the software and fintech names, but the other SaaS names running. You have Palo Alto, which is going to be really important. 296. This one's basically at all-time highs. The CEO bottom ticked his stock, bought $10 million worth of it around March 27th. It's up 65% year to date, which I think is one of the best years that Palo Alto has had in a long time. And then you have Gitlab. Gitlab is an interesting one. Gitlab right here down about 12% year to date, $5.38 billion company. I mean, I'll do the poll right here in the chat. If I had to guess which one I think could really move after the bell, I feel like it's Gitlab simply because any Datadog / Snowflake resemblance of a quarter, it's going up. And at $5 billion, I don't think it's, asking a lot for the street to take it higher. Palo Alto, I think, has just been priced so aggressively going into the print that I don't know. I don't know if that one's going to be able to put up. But then again, cybersecurity really matters, and the street's been paying attention a lot more to it. So it's going to be one of those things that's going to be incredibly important to see. I also think, we have the Fortinet earnings, which were amazing, but then Zscaler ended up popping down 30%. So that's going to be, I think, the biggest one of the night. Wow, Microsoft right there down 4% as we get towards the end of the day. And we're going to see more of how the street thinks about it. INFQ, you got the quantum stocks this week preparing for that Quantinium IPO. INFQ right there, 20.65. That's up 16% on the day. D-Wave right there, still up 2.76%. T1 Energy, this one got a bit of a move today, 1213. That's up 16%. And the market right there, excited for some of the energy names. Bloom as well was almost going to 250 yesterday, now right back to 300 as that continues to go green. Microsoft is down so much simply because of the fact that I think, A, the software sell-off, IGV goes down, Microsoft goes down, it's a big part of IGV. But two is, I mean, again, if Google's ready to dilute by 80 billion, why wouldn't Microsoft and Amazon also be ready to do the same? Not Meta, because they're not building out cloud computing stuff, but I mean, if it works for Google, it should work for the other guys. Amazon right there down about 1.3%. So I think that's why it kind of makes sense for it to be down. It's kind of completely ignoring the narrative of the chip sales and the new NVIDIA products. Oh, by the way, Jensen and NVIDIA were together today at an event. But yeah, until I think we get a better understanding of how Microsoft is going to be positioned for this new era of potentially selling chips, then, you know, we're going to have to see how the street ultimately thinks about them. This was one of the clips that they had today at their conference.
Even on the cloud side, with how you're pushing on the systems innovation.
Well, our journey is incredible. We built the first AI supercomputer together. That was based on Ampere. Of course, Hopper was an incredible success. Those first two generations were focused on pre-training. Grace Blackwell came along and
even on the cloud side.
So at that event today, I think it was called Microsoft Live, you had Jensen pop in and kind of talk about the partnership and collaboration with these new laptops. Well, it did look like AI. I was wondering, is this pre-recorded? But it was like live. Jensen, I think, was calling in from Taiwan. I guess the cameras are getting pretty good now to make it think that it could be AI. But yeah, so I mean, look, the collaboration's there. You got your name associated with the most important company in the world. It's just not enough. It's not enough to get the market to see this moving in a different direction. Amit, do you think quantum moving up is why crypto is moving down? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. If Bitcoin's actually down because the street thinks that quantum is going to, decrypt crypto, then that would be quite incredible. I don't really think that's the reason. I think quantum's up for other reasons. That's the risk we never talk about. I don't think that's the reason for why Bitcoin's down, but if that would be the reason, it would be kind of funny. No, I think Bitcoin's down because people just don't care. They care more about AI, and it's kind of been the same theme all year. Oklo, by the way, up 10.03%. All the nuclear names as well. Starting to get a little bit more green. Put in the chat if you did anything today. Any specific plays, bought anything, sold anything. Micron right there. Was that green? I haven't looked at it all day. Micron, yep, pretty much green, 1,070. That one's waiting to break 1,100. Has not been able to break through 1,070. AMD, 520.83. S&P volume is super low, is it? Oh, wow, you're right. That is super low. Average volume is usually about 75 million shares. We're pulling in at 25 million today. Yeah, this is a relatively low volume day for the S&P. It's also pretty much flat, even though it is slightly green. Hubbard's Pulse says I added to my HP and Reddit positions. JTS said Uber. Meta's been kind of flat all day. A couple people here saying, oh, Meta's actually down 597. A couple of people saying CoreWeave at 119. A few people saying some Microsoft calls that I bought. Uzi says AMKR July 17th, 85. AMKR right here, 74 right now. July 17th, about a month and a half away. And again, a lot of these names as they're curling up. I think Micron kind of controls the narrative on a lot of this. I mean, Micron breaks out after earnings. I think a lot of the semi names are kind of going with it as well. INFQ again up 15%. Palo Alto down 1.43. What did you guys say in the poll in terms of which one outperforms? 54% of you say Palo Alto. Dude, I think it's been a long time since Palo Alto was up 65% going into a print. So this is one of the bigger ones that we've seen. And they're going to have to put up some good numbers, man. I really hope they do. I don't have a position, but I do not want a software company as important as them falling pretty badly after hours. So we just got to see if the growth is enough. Again, Palo Alto had multiple acquisitions over the past couple of years that have kind of held down the stock. It has, had expenses to be able to resolve those acquisitions, but you're now starting to see if the market can get a bit more excited for it. Here's the preview on that right here as we have Mr. Dan Ives giving his take on what he thinks is going to happen with Palo Alto.
Position along with CrowdStrike when it comes to cybersecurity. And we talked about the SaaS apocalypse and what would happen to cybersecurity if you go back to March. That was way overdone. It was a golden opportunity. I think, look, we're going to have a Jalen Brunson-like week for cybersecurity when it comes to Palo Alto and then CrowdStrike tomorrow night. And budgets are just going to increase with AI, with Mythos. We think going from 5% of budgets to 10%, which is why this is going to be a golden age for cybersecurity for the ones well-positioned like Palo Alto.
Dan, I really appreciate the metaphor, but by the way, I'm calling it Spurs in 5. I know it's not popular around here, but Spurs in 5.
I think Knicks in 5.
Okay, I don't know if we're seeing Knicks in 5. If we see Knicks in 5, New York City is going to be the hottest city of the summer. But yeah, look, I think Dan is right that Mythos has created this tailwind for the cybersecurity names. It's just, man, bro, this is legit an all-time high. Look at this chart on Palo Alto. Look at this thing. Like, for this to just keep going, this looks like Dell and HPE, but they have the types of numbers to keep going. This is, I don't know if they're going to get even above 30% revenue growth. So this is going to be an important one, and we will find out in the next couple minutes what we get for Palo Alto. You had a bunch of different Qualcomm people or Qualcomm videos come out earlier today as the Qualcomm CEO was at the Microsoft event, and Microsoft released this Project Solera, a line of AI agent-first devices developed with none other than Qualcomm.
First, there's you. Then, everything in front of you. We get it. The noise, the weight of it all. And so we've been building something. A new chip-to-cloud platform for an agent-first world and for new agent-first devices. You come close, it's ready when you are.
So this is what helped Qualcomm get a little bit of a bid today. But once again, Microsoft being associated with a lot of the chip architecture and infrastructure plays today has just not been able to get that breakout, even though some of the other chip names obviously have been getting a lot higher of a move. All right, folks, here we go. We got 3 earnings and then Technical Tuesday, June 2nd, 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. All right, we are done for the day. Now, Palo Alto, from what I remember, tends to happen super quickly with the numbers. And so we should be getting that pretty soon. And we're going to see what the market says. Palo Alto right there, 297.18. Meta closes below 600. S&P 759, basically flat on the day. Micron 1,064. That was green. Microsoft, again, announcements with Qualcomm and NVIDIA were not enough to get this to go up, down 4% on the day. Amazon down about 2% on the day. T1 Energy, that was up 15%. Bloom Energy, that was up 10%. Inflection, that was up 12.2%. Ulta, that is earnings today as after the bell as well. That was down 20% year to date. That's down 1%. Marvell, 32%, 290. I took a couple of trades on Marvell today, and they worked out, but it's because people kept buying every little dip. I mean, the 280-150 dip was bought like there was no tomorrow. This thing really did not go below 280, and it was at 250 last night. So you have this one that looks like it has a date with 300 right there. Oak Low 73.48, that was up 9.84%. NVIDIA closes red after a massive pump fake in the morning going up to 235. Literally, they took her to 235 to bring her back down to 222. Corning right here, 200.36, 13.39% as that continues to go green. Microsoft introduced the quantum chip. I did not see that news. That probably is the reason why the quantum stocks continue to make a push throughout the end of the day. I did not see that. We'll try to get some more updates on it. But yeah, I would imagine Microsoft quantum new chips, that would be bullish for the quantum names. Palo Alto, a little bit of a move after hours. 1%. I think we should be getting the numbers very soon. I don't have them yet. I do not have them yet, by the way. If you care about these earnings updates, cactusjack.com, putting it right there. You can sign up for free. There it is. You'll get the numbers as soon as I get them as well. And you'll be able to try to keep track of what these earnings look like. All right, we are green. 1.7%. Just hit 300. 303. Let's see if she can keep going. Let's see. I still don't have any earnings yet. We should be getting it pretty soon. Street likes it already. AMD did close at an all-time high, which is super bullish. AMD. The Street wants 80 cents of EPS and $2.94 billion of revenue. 80 cents of EPS, $2.94 billion of revenue. 304. Whoever's buying it right now likes the numbers, even if the numbers aren't out publicly yet. 303. Gitlab, I don't have their numbers yet either. But that's up 3%. The Street on Gitlab wants 20 cents of EPS and $254 million of revenue. Palo Alto 1.8, and then we don't have Ulta yet either. Still don't have it. Oh boy, it's a big one. Tomorrow's a big one with CrowdStrike and Broadcom as well. If Palo Alto can crush, obviously the Street's going to be probably excited for CrowdStrike to be able to crush. AMD, what was our close on AMD? 520, 521. Yep. All-time high close on AMD, 521.54. Still waiting. Don't have Palo Alto. Still waiting. Still don't see it. Not yet. Okay, so whatever move it's making, it's not based on earnings because we don't have earnings. At least not at the moment. Let's see. MRVL, is that still moving after hours? MRVL. Wow. MRVL is still moving after hours. 293. My goodness. Jensen said $1 trillion. The Street said, okay, $1 trillion. We're going to do $1 trillion. If you want it to be $1 trillion, Jensen. Jensen just needs to say, hey, NVIDIA, $10 trillion. Maybe the Street will listen in the same way. That's weird. Dude, Palo Alto usually is immediately after the bell. I guess it's at 4:05. We got 1 minute, but usually they're pretty quick. And we are still waiting right here. If it's in the next minute, then that's where you're going to see. That's where you're going to see the move. Oh, there it is. 3.8, 405, 5.7, 7.8, 8%, 322. Oh, that's a big move. 9% is a big move, folks. Can we hold it, though? 9% feels like it's a big move. Feels like it's legit. Can we hold it? Palo Alto, 85 cents versus 80 cents. That's a beat by 6% on EPS. Revenue, $3 billion versus 2.94. That's a beat by 2%. Revenue's up 31% year over year. EPS is up 6% year over year. 9% on a double beat. We're going to get more numbers in a second, but you do have a double beat. Revenue up 30. They are accelerating revenue growth. We haven't had revenue growth like this in a while for Palo Alto. That is, I think, why you're getting your 9% right there, which you're trying to hold on to. Ulta, they beat by 12%, 774 versus 689 EPS. Revenue, they beat by 1%, 3.16 versus 3.12. EPS is up 16% year over year. Revenue's up 11% year over year. Ulta with a double beat. And then Gitlab also with a double beat. 15 cents, 23 cents versus 20 cents expected on EPS. It's a beat on EPS. EPS is up 35% year over year. Revenue's up 23% year over year. Beat by 4%, 264 versus 254 million. So you've got all three companies with double beats across the board. Palo Alto holding up the strongest. Gitlab is up 6. That's rivaling Palo Alto. Palo Alto up 11. Oh, CrowdStrike's got to be moving after hours. CrowdStrike already moving up 3% after hours. AMD is up a little bit after hours. Gitlab up 3. Ulta is up 5%. All three of them. Ulta, again, not a tech company, but all three of them getting some love here. This is really important for the software names. You got to see these SaaS stocks put up really strong numbers, hold their earnings, hold their multiples, and it makes it easier for the other companies to do the same. Palo Alto, let's get some coverage on their numbers. Look, have not gone into the guidance or anything specific on the ARR, but that is indeed a double beat for Palo Alto stocks, up 11%.
Pressure on index volatility, all else equal.
All right, hold on, Mandy. We're seeing a big move in Palo Alto, up 10% on the back of its earnings. Seema Modi's got the numbers. Seema.
Hey, Melissa, third quarter numbers are out, coming in better than expected at 85 cents. The street was looking for 80. Quarterly sales growing by 31% year over year to $3 billion, which is also ahead of consensus. And remaining performance obligations also higher than street consensus at $18.4 billion. So that tells us the demand story, guys, continues to accelerate. The Palo Alto's Q4 revenue outlook above the street. CEO Nikesh Arora comments here in the press release, says the latest advancements at the AI frontier have increased the level of urgency around cybersecurity and redefined the shape of the industry for the coming years. We'll want color on the earnings call, guys, on just how Mythos has created a bigger opportunity for cybersecurity and what type of tools they're leveraging and providing their customer as concerns continue to grow. Shares are up about 12% here.
All right, Seema, thanks. Seema Modi, do not miss an exclusive.
Dude, these numbers are pretty decent. Look at the guide. Next gen security ARR, we're guiding for almost $9 billion, 60% growth. RPO, $21 billion, 33% growth. Revenue, 32%, $3.35 billion. A couple quarters ago, Palo Alto was doing barely 15% growth. I mean, this is a pretty decent acceleration. And then about 98 cents a share in terms of EPS, which is really, I mean, these are decent freaking numbers. Palo Alto right there hit 338, now 326, trying to hold on to that 10% move. Gitlab 14. Gitlab 14. I'm trying to get deeper on those numbers, but Gitlab does have a beat on the top and the bottom. Again, this is a $5 billion company, much smaller company to move if it is going to make a move. Gitlab right there up 10. MRVL up 1 after hours. CrowdStrike up 4, breaking through 800 after hours. Palo Alto has a higher PE than Palantir. I did not know that, but that's why I was a little afraid going into the earnings, because I knew the multiples were getting a bit aggressive on the cyber names. But look, if they're putting up results, that's all that matters. The semi companies are putting up massive growth. We saw that with HPE, Dell. If the software companies can do the same, eventually they will catch the bid. MRVL is up 1, CrowdStrike up 4, AMD is up a little bit, GitLab up 9, and then Ulta actually up 5. Ulta up 5. They've been boarding customers to consolidate to them for years. Yeah, and you know, that's part of the acquisition strategy that Palo Alto has had in particular. I think they acquired like 3 different companies over the past 12 months, all in the range of, I think it's closing in on almost $20 to $30 billion. Obviously, they didn't pay cash for all those companies, but a lot of that stuff helping to contribute to non-organic revenue growth, which is leading to the company accelerating. And at some point, you know, you get so big that you're going to have to do different acquisitions to be able to get that revenue growth. And it looks like that's what's happening right here. But it also looks like the demand for cybersecurity in general is going up. CEO said Q3 was a standout quarter for Palo Alto with accelerating organic bookings. Customers as a growth turned us to secure their AI deployments at scale. The latest advancements for the AI frontier have increased the level of urgency around cybersecurity and redefined the shape of the industry for coming years. Our Q3 results reflect strong growth across each of our platforms as we scale. We are executing ahead of our M&A integration plans and improving profitability across our businesses, which helps us keep firmly on track to achieve 40% adjusted free cash flow margins in fiscal year 2028. I mean, that's what you needed to see. That is what you needed to see. Palo Alto coming in clutch. That makes me very confident that CrowdStrike's going to crush it. Not sure what the stock's going to do tomorrow, but if there was ever a question on can they put up the numbers, if Palo Alto is, CrowdStrike is going to have more or less the same, if not potentially better. 804, that one's up 4.3% after hours. GitLab up 10, and then Ulta up 5. Google continuing to head down after hours. Same with Microsoft as those names go red. Fastly's up 1%, NVDA up a little bit after hours. Okay, I think those are pretty much what we got for earnings. Do we see anything else? I'm going to try to get a little bit more commentary on Ulta and see exactly what they're saying about makeup. Net sales increased 11.1%, comparable sales up 5.3%, operating income up 11.6%. Berkshire used to have a stake in these guys before they dumped it, but looks like they're doing decently. $3.2 billion in total sales. CEO, fiscal 2026 for Ulta is off to a strong start, driven by broad-based growth across all channels and major categories. Our results demonstrate the strength of our models, focused execution on our talented associates, and the effectiveness of our strategy in an uncertain macroeconomic environment. So this is a retail brand. Some of these retail brands have not done too well. Ulta looks like they are weathering it pretty nicely. And it doesn't look like they're necessarily seeing the type of issue that some of these other retail brands were having a bigger problem. A little bit of commentary right here on Palo Alto, and then we'll keep going from there.
Thanks for the question. So the next gen security portfolio really includes some of Palo's fastest growing products, whether it's the XIM product or the Prisma SASE product or cloud security. These are really products outside of the firewall, much faster growing markets. And that base, I think, in total grew 60%. On an organic basis, has added about 400 million in net new ARR. That's well ahead of what we were expecting, about 350 million. I think even higher than some buy-side expectations. And so I think what that tells you is you have a healthy core business in network security, but this growing sort of next gen kind of portfolio that's adding and boosting that growth.
We were just
look at that chart, dude. Wow. 6.3 to 8.1 billion of next gen security. That is a $2 billion increase in the guide, folks. That is, I mean, that kind of gives you shades of what Dell and HPE said. Obviously not the same nominal dollar amount, but the growth rates are there. And you're seeing that get reflected. By the way, Gitlab, they are laying off 14% of the company. Gitlab is laying off 14% of the company. That's probably another reason why the stock's making a move right here. GitLab's up 10%. They announced they're laying off 14% of the workforce. That is about 360 employees. So they're going to take about a 40 million restructuring cost pre-tax in order to do that. CrowdStrike up 3%. Palo Alto still up 9%. GitLab up 8% as well. GitLab expects to exit 22 countries. Wow. Huh. Okay. They beat earnings, layoffs, exiting some countries, and stocks kind of moving here. It's not AI-related job losses. Yeah, I mean, I guess time will tell if it ends up being AI-related job losses. GitLab right there up about 7%. After hours. Zscaler should be going up on these earnings. Yep, Zscaler up 2.5. I would imagine all the cybersecurity names are catching a bit of a bid right there. Yeah, all of them. CrowdStrike, Zscaler, Fortinet, that should be up a little bit. Fortinet is indeed up a little bit, 1.83% after hours. Okay, those are the earnings. That is what we got for today. If you're in Palo Alto, congrats. If you're in any of these cybersecurity names, you kind of really needed a decent quarter to get the ball rolling right here. Fiscal year estimates on Palo Alto, massive beat. You're seeing that get not only beat, but raise. Ulta, even though it's a retail company, which haven't had the best earnings so far, they're putting up some decent earnings. CEO seems to like it. Market seems to like it. And then GitLab, smaller company, but you have the print as well. Tomorrow, I will not be live tomorrow for the market close, but CrowdStrike and Broadcom will be the two big ones. And so we'll talk about that on Thursday as we get into the market open. All right, it is indeed Tuesday, and that means that it is once again time to look at the technicals of this market. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, time to roll the intro. What's up?
Check. Okay, I legit don't know if this audio is working.
No, you're good. You're perfect.
I actually just ripped this mic out because I had my other one in, and I was having
it looks
issues.
Sounds better than your old ones. I mean, it actually is really crisp.
I mean, that's kind of where I was going. Like, this is the cheapie, actually. But
good.
We'll run with it. But what's up, boys and girls? Fam.
We
How
have
we doing?
So much to talk about, dude.
Dude,
So much.
I feel like, well, I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say other than raging bull market, my guy.
Raging bull market. Google's diluting by 80. I mean, I'm so curious. You've been around markets for a while. I don't think you've seen $5 trillion companies do this, but they're also doing this to spend on the same companies that are in the raging bull market, which are the
Yeah, I think Google comes back. I think it's probably a buyable dip. I'll just say that, like, end of story. I think Google still has its thing. At this point, you know, I'll add, actually, because I sold. I would only add because I sold too early last time. So I'll take this opportunity to kind of like DCA in slowly by slowly. And I am actually doing that. It's not new though. Like Google was doing this. Didn't they do like 100-year bond or something like that?
Yeah, but it's not. I checked. The last time they diluted was 2004.
Yeah,
equity, but bonds they've been doing it for the past 15 years. But
yeah, so like to me, I'm not really sure. Like they're similar, I guess, in like from a super high level thought process of like either way they're raising money. But yeah, this looks like it's gonna try to go for 350. But honestly, I could see Google opening up green tomorrow. Like very quickly. It's very close. Like 350 is actually where they were when they reported the last earnings report. So that's kind of like my downside here. Also about the 50-day simple. So I like the spot. It's a heavy chart, but I don't think they're not going to execute here. And I'll take my shot as we pull back. But yeah, you know, at least I can say this one's not as crazy parabolic right now as the rest. So if the rest come and pull back a little bit, that also gives me a little bit of somewhat peace of mind. We're like, okay, I'll at least have Google, which it should actually pop on any profit taking of the high flyers. At least that's the hope.
So let's get started. Let's pull up the S&P. We're hitting you again. We'll get through all the big names, then we'll take audience requests. But I am very, very, very curious how you're thinking of the S&P right now. Is it feeling like a place where you might want to take some profits going into June, or just let it ride the wave that it's on?
Have you ever left your dictation on and like seen a wall of text?
Yes, that has happened a couple times to me, actually. Thankfully, it never sent them.
I should send this to this person. I'm gonna hit send. Boom, sent. I wonder who gets it. Check your text messages.
It's all stock stuff. That's hilarious. Yeah, 760. Bullish or bearish here?
I think it's a bull market. And this could go higher. I think the fact that I think we could get another 24, 36 hours. What day is today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
So tomorrow we'll probably have a high. And then I'm thinking midday sometime tomorrow, we will probably see a little bit of profit taking coming into NFP on Friday. So the macro overhang is real ish. It's real from people think it's real. Do I think it's actually going to damage anything? No. But I think that we could have a big green day tomorrow. And then probably not pull back right away, but like probably slower, like smaller green days. And then Friday we might, if we have a bad print on NFP, which I think we might, we would have a little bit of pullback, which I would very likely buy. Like if Friday was like an epically red day and we close on the absolute lows, I'll just tell you right now, I'll be a buyer. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I think we can continue on. I have 766 for this next move here. And what's on the screen right now, if you don't know, I'm going to hit play here. So welcome to the noobs, by the way. This is a timer because your boy has advanced ADD. We can get a little out of hand sometimes. But this gray box here was that kind of pullback from before. So it's a measured move, essentially pullback, retest, and then a full extension of this consolidation is essentially 766. And that's where that takes us. The pathing here, like half midway point, is about 730, which we had a little bit of a chop in. But as of last Tuesday, again, this is Thursday, May 14th high that we kind of topped out. And then when we met last Tuesday right here, we basically just sat right on that high. I think this is coming out okay. And then continued on one more time. This little pocket here, this blip, I could say is exactly going to take us, if we extend beyond 761 and a third, 761 and a third, then we will see 766 plus. I'll say that definitively. And that's how we would essentially get to that 800 level. But yeah, I mean, can we see a little bit of chop? For sure. I think even if NFP comes out really hot or cold, let's say on Friday, I honestly think that the immediate reaction is going to be like, sure, we can be at record unemployment and we can be at record high inflation, and the stock market at this point can still be at all-time highs. And we can see everything at once because of what's going on.
The JOLTS data was crazy today, right?
JOLTS, I really don't pay attention to, quite frankly. Like, I actively dismiss. So JOLTS are job openings. The difference between JOLTS today and what we're going to see on Friday is the difference between someone listing a job opening. So like let's say I'm hiring a customer success team, which, by the way, we are hiring. If I have to hire a customer success team, then I want to put out a job opening. It could be remote. I could put it out in New York. I could put it out in Chicago and California and Florida all at the same time. That's going to show as 4 jobs, but in reality, that's honestly 1 job. And so because of that, that's how JOLTS actually works, the job openings. The difference between that and what we get on Friday is how many jobs were actually taken. So it's a real number, and it holds significantly more weight. So yeah, it's good to see JOLTS, like they're going up, but the difference between openings and actual positions taken is a big deal.
Yeah, I agree. I think the revisions last year have really made people kind of feel numb to any good job data, but the market still
100%.
likes it, right? Yeah, the market still likes when we get new jobs. Still another piece of data.
It's a big point. And regardless, I think that this is going to mean less and less as we go and we get deeper into this AI kind of revolution, if you will. But yeah, I think, what's happening is happening, and you just can't stop it. Like, I don't care. Like, you just can't stop it. Oil at 200, it's not going to stop an AI build out. It's not going to stop, any of that kind of stuff. So at this point, you're like, wow, yeah, I'm hard pressed to see how it could stop some stocks. There are stocks where I would say, oh yeah, that's probably going to be hurt a little bit. I know you mentioned Ulta today. Maybe that gets a little dink. Probably like a Nike. I don't know. Lululemon. I think bifurcated economy and bifurcated stock market in real life. And, the gap, we talked about this actually recently, the gap between what's doing really well and what's doing not so well actually becomes wider, both in the real economy and in the stock market.
Right. NVDA, can you explain to us why you think they pumped her and dumped her today?
They say that one more time.
They took her to 235,
and
then they took her down to 220.
Well, I think because Broadcom is first up, right? So Broadcom, we talked about this last time. By the way, we're here. Vida, I think, is after Broadcom reports, I think she's in the clear. This is not a bad. I don't think she's done. I think she's going to take another shot. Right now, you have a bit of a session gap, so I'm just going to take this very small. I say small. For some people, this might be a large time frame. What's true is that this is a very small time frame. Calling it from the 14th to today, like, I don't know, 2 weeks of time. That's not a lot of time. So right here, right now, what I just drew is, what do we call this? I'll say like a typical retracement. So this is a bearish retracement right now, and it's good. Stopping under 223. Look, so what I will say is you have two competing kind of market inefficiencies. One is the upside gap here right now. That's from, you have this session gap over here. It's 236 and change. You also have another gap from over the weekend down here to 212.65. So if NVIDIA tomorrow cannot get through 223.5, so it's like this. As if it can stay in this box, this is good right there, because that will ultimately resolve higher like that, quite frankly. But if it, where it lands, if it does something like this, that's fine. Just know that 212.5 in yours, there's this little session gap over here. This is not needed anymore. 212.5 roughly is your downside spot where this should go. And then from there, it should probably go sideways for a bit before it makes its next move. I think it would stop on a dime right there. And then from there, either it goes back up or it goes sideways and then continues down. But once it gets there, I think any downside is kind of resolved for that moment. And then you can wait for the next move to set up. But for right now, this is actually trying to get to this upside target. So of 235 plus. I think on this one, it's 245 to 260 on this. I want to call it a wave, but it's probably not the right word. On this impulse higher, which would be, yeah, 255 to 260 plus. And I still have targets in the 290s by end of summer if it actually continues on. So I like it. This does not deter me like at all near term. Long term also, I'll just take all these drawings off. I mean, this is pretty solid. So long term, we have a pretty basic, we call it congestion zone. You have a small one in here that we basically stayed inside this for the better part of a year. This high right here, that's about 209, 210. And so that's right above what I'm basically outlining right now. Let's go with green. And so a pullback would actually come into that and likely resolve in this direction anyways. So that's how I see this any way you slice it. Even if this is a lower high, that's fine to me. And we could come back and, like I said, retest the top of this and then ultimately resolve higher off of this. That's probably a little bit better view. This view, which takes us into that 260 to 280 kind of target. It doesn't have to go in a straight line. It could kind of be like that, but that's how this is setting up. And there's no shot here because we're so far over this break right now. Whatever that is, 212s. Yeah, so that was that prior high. So as long as we're holding over that, I think we're fine. And we can just kind of like build a new base around that 212 area and possibly expect like a week of sideways before we can resolve.
Can we do Broadcom? I know they have earnings tomorrow, but I wonder if you think this could pull a Dell in terms of
I think it's possible to pull Dell. I mean, first of all, we outlined this on Tuesday. Did anybody bank on trading this? I just want to know, are we actually making people money? Because I'll tell you, this trade, the last 3 days, insane.
Basically 420 to 480, right?
Yeah. So how we outline this is, right, big consolidation here. It's about a month sideways. And then you finally have that full breakout ahead of a catalyst of earnings, right? And so what we saw here, this was actually Thursday and resolving higher. I'm zooming in now. So resolving higher here off of into Friday and then a follow through into right now. This is actually this full target of this consolidation. So whether or not like this is the one, I don't know. I think what I've been kind of talking about right now is that this is the easy money. right? So this was a given. If you think it wasn't even that difficult of a trade. Like it's a given to get into just under 500 right now. What happens on earnings? Totally different story. So I would have to say, you know, I'll do it this way. Let me take this down. And we'll say this. Now that you see it too, it's a bigger breakout, right? So this was that last earnings, and we're in this whole consolidation range of that we just broke out of. So 425 is actually a pretty large breakout. Upside here is, again, if you were just to measure this as a double into just under 560, so 558 and a quarter. Between now and then, this could be at a 510 tomorrow, and that's your typical resistance area or first target, if you will, right here. If it chops in like around $500 for a while, that's actually perfectly fine as well to resolve some of this like overbought whatever before heading back up to 558 and then some. You just don't want to see it get up there and then have a full-blown pullback. Regardless, even if it does pull back and this goes into that 415 again, the problem is, well, there's no problem. The problem is that there's no problem with the chart. So it doesn't even matter to me. If this pulls back, it's going to be a buy the dip scenario. Sometimes in these instances, that kind of makes me think it might not go anywhere and probably stop around 510. But that would be, I think that might whenever I see this setup, that's what tends to happen a lot of times. But yeah, as long as it's over 425, 420s, you're in an active breakout, and there's no real question about that.
Thank you, Mike, for the gift of 20. We appreciate that. And a bunch of you guys said you did take Broadcom since the last 2 weeks. So
money.
Seeing some calls.
Congrats.
Yeah, Jenny, Alex, bunch of people here making some bank on Broadcom. Okay, can we do the Googs? I know you said you think it's coming back. I'm curious your thoughts on dilution in general, and then the technicals.
I don't want to have a thought on dilution just yet. I think it's really early. I think it's more about like, look, I don't have to have, this is part of being a trader, is that I don't have to have I don't have to have the right kind of thesis in general, because the price is going to tell me more or less. What I could say is like, yeah, a little breach below this 380 level. Honestly, I thought that would be like the ideal setup. That would be like a breach here. And we started to, let me just get into this. We started actually to see it. If I was just to say, replay computer. Wow, I hate how this takes forever. Coming into the end of last week, this was actually holding 387. And I was looking at this kind of spot right here as like a potential liquidity grab. And I actually outlined this, I think, last week. And that's honestly what I was looking for. That's not what happened. And I felt like, oh, look, if we really get through, because this is earnings right here, and I am zoomed in quite a bit right now, but just as inside, this is earnings right here. 377 is the top of that earnings gap, and then right in here, 359 is that kind of midpoint. And typically on a typical earnings pullback, we might actually see at 377 some pull into around that 50% gap where it typically stalls out. If it doesn't, then we do go to that 350 level, which would be the downside from here. But I'll go ahead and play this forward so you can kind of see what happens. This is an over the weekend, this is that first kind of announcement. And it's a clean break. And then I think it's the first day and then clean break. And then you get the announcement. And where we are, I believe right now. Yeah, literally right now in this moment is exactly there. So yes, well, this broke. And once that kind of broke down here, you kind of, or I was on this guy. below here, we kind of know that you could go all the way down, but it basically opened up at my downside target first. So I was like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. And I'll just say, yeah, if it goes below 359, it's another $5, but like at that point, like what do I care? Between 360 and 350, it's not that big of a deal. I would probably buy it again, and then I would be done buying it in this round. And from there, I would expect this to kind of like consolidate, potentially go back up, and this whole thing ends up being a bit of a consolidation anyways. This is like legit what I would expect. And let's say that would be, yeah, that would be back up to 385 for resistance. And then if we can get through 400 again, it's the same story all over. And it doesn't really change my 400 plus. It moves it down to 475, which actually 475 was there anyways. So that's how I see this one going. So it could be here now, or it could be a couple dollars lower, right around that 50-day SMA. And I think I'm just kind of like in passive mode right now, just watching it.
Jose, thank you for the $100 super chat. Appreciate you, Jose Hernandez. Thank you for being here, and thank you very much for the $99 super chat.
You see how he got the last name drop there too? That's how you know you're special.
That's how you know you're special, Jose Hernandez. Nebius, bro. This one looks like it's kind of in price discovery. How are you thinking of this name right here?
So I had some leap spreads on this while it was down here in this area. I think I said just another trade, you guys, that I send our friend over here like a special DM about, and he just totally ignores it. But you know, it is what it is. It was at 150 to 250, or sorry, Jesus, you make it pull this up. But yeah, 150 to 200 debit spread leaps, and I feel like you, when you had those Robinhood leaps, because I'm like so deep in the money, I'm like, this is kind of a waste of time, but they're not even like fully valued. I'm like, oh, I hate that I got myself into this position. It is what it is. So I actually just took some of those down right now. 287 was like my full extension from this consolidation area. So I think this does go into consolidation anyways. This is one, a lot of the neoclouds at today's price action. First of all, I like Nebius the best, and then I like CoreWeave second best. And from there, I think, you know, if this can consolidate within this 250 kind of zone, that would be great. If not, from here, this is a little bit of this is the first beginnings today. Right here. See how we open up at the absolute highs, 280 and change? I don't like this. So this is a topping. When you open up at the absolute highs and then you proceed to close at the absolute lows, that's the first yellow flag of at least completion of a move. It doesn't mean that it's going to pull back. And like I was trying to say earlier, this can consolidate and it will resolve any kind of momentum that's up there. But this is hot. Like this is extremely hot. And today's action is not ideal. Today's price action does not look good when you actually are closing at the absolute lows. And even in the pre-market at 283, we just never saw this. This is almost, that's that reminiscent of Palantir at 220, right? Feeling where you're like, oh, it's great. But then when you look at how it closed, typically we would see buyers step in at some point. We didn't see that at all. So what I think on Nebius here is if you can't hold 250, I think 250 is the first kind of like line in the sand from if this is going to hold this parabolic momentum, cool. If not, around 215 is where this should go. And quite frankly, that might be a lot of percent from a pre-market high, which you never saw in real trading hours. It's about 25% here, but in retrospect, it's nothing. And then I would actually look for this to start to consolidate or have some kind of consolidation pattern before it comes back up again. So that right there literally all I'm talking about, but potentially another place to wait and see if it can come down to you to add, because there's nothing wrong with this chart. There's nothing wrong with this company. It might have just gotten a little bit over its skis in this point in time, potentially. Now, that said, if it's over 290, well, forget everything I just said. But for right now, this is setting up for a little bit of profit taking ahead of NFP, if you will, and then potentially some dip buys as close to 200-ish as you can. But I don't even think it has to get to 200, more like 215.
CoreWeave.
Do you guys think he I feel like he didn't like it. I mean, I like this stuff.
Dude, I told you already, I'm not buying options. I'm trying to learn how to trade on the chart.
I'm joking.
Doing debit spread. That's so
So
it makes sense. It makes people money. I'm just not taking the strategy, but it works.
No, you don't take a shot, but you wait for 215 unless this is holding 250s. CoreWeave is here.
I did buy some CoreWeave last night.
I like CoreWeave a lot. This is a very messy chart, so let me try and
GameStop approved 2 billion share buybacks. Jason, do you care about that?
I mean, no, not at all.
Wait, they didn't have earnings today, did they? They just put up.
I don't know.
Is it running after hours? GME. Wow, it's up 13%. Huh.
Yeah, I think AMC and GME have both kind of been doing that thing. So I liked it a lot down here. I actually took a trade down here up into this like target zone here of I have a target zone of 145-ish, 125 to 145. And we just got to my initial bounce target. And today it was very similar. We had a pretty big pullback also. I am in a CoreWeave trade, but and I trimmed yesterday, like over here when we first got to that 126 area. Today I didn't see it that early, so I was like, whatever. For right now, I honestly feel like this is on the mend anyways. So I don't have a problem with CoreWeave like literally here now. This is another one though where it's slightly exhausted. I think that this could come in a little bit, I just don't want to see it below 110. If this is below 110, my entry was like somewhere in here, 103s for that move. Mostly that first impulse is over. But if this can get up and continue through 126.5, I think this is still on a trajectory to 145, but it does have also some signs of exhaustions. From a longer term perspective here, again, kind of a messy chart, but what I'm going to outline two things. One, these kind of levels here, 145 to 140, this is what we would call like a bearish retracement. And again, a good bull knows where the bears are. This is important because the trajectory here is to try and get through this essentially like wall of sellers from over here and that are showing up one more time right now. And, you know, on as this tries to do it, like it can take a couple shots, but eventually if it does break through that 145, it's 180, 90 plus into, and this is more investment time frame into much higher than that, like threes. But how long it takes to get there, we're TBD. We have not gotten through that first kind of barrier, that first gate that we need to cross through. We're banging our head up against it, but it's not quite there yet. So it's going to kind of like back off and take another shot. And again, if it does something like that, this area, if I zoom in a little bit one more time, that can be like anywhere right now around this 115. If I were just to say, hey, look, from this $94 recent low post earnings, which I thought was kind of weird, anything in this area down to as close to 110 as you can should act as at least the initial springboard to take another shot up into that. So let's say if we go down If we open red tomorrow, this is one where I would probably assume closes green. Nebius can do the same thing, but if we open red tomorrow and close green, just know that we're going to take another shot into this area, and it could still be 145 very quickly. So watch for that. You just don't want to see this below 108 for this kind of move, this press.
Meta.
Meta, it's at the level.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is this the time to load up the truck, or what do you think?
I kind of thought about it today. There were just some other things that I was more interested in. Load up the truck though. I mean,
like $800 leaps December 2028. Is this the time?
Oh,
if we're going the options route. Or is like 550 where it's actually more appropriate?
No. You said 2028?
Yeah. I feel like 800 is not super out of the money either, because we were at 750 a few months ago. I mean, right
Depends
now.
on how you want to plan to do it. So like something like that, you would typically want to have multiples of, so you don't want to buy like at least 5.
I guess the bigger question for people is like, is this the level where people should be saying, yeah, this is Google in 2025, or at least close to it?
Yeah, I don't hate it. I'll be honest with you. In a situation like this, I'm almost more inclined to go the 1K leap. Because if you get it, like you get it, and it has to be this, because 800 is probably good, right? But once you're at 800, you're gonna need to roll that leap up anyways to 1,000. Like that's what you're gonna want to do. So it would have to follow this exact trajectory. So in 800 leap, the only issue there is it's not an issue. The only thing I would say is that on this first move, if we're still in the box, right? So like the box being from here, where the bears live, to down here where the bulls live. Actually, let me do it a little bit cleaner. So the bulls live right here. So your trade location is what we would call this, is beautiful. And this is where the bears live. I would say that this is near, I would assume that this happens. But what you don't know is if it's ready to go out. Because like if this happens and then you get this pullback here, at this point, you would want to take some kind of profit just to, we call this a safety trim. You'd want to take some kind of profit just to secure something, right? So you're not sitting there with the bag for years, because we don't actually know that this is going to happen. And with leaps, it's more time bound than anything, because this could still chop for a while before it ultimately resolves, whichever way. But I do like it. I definitely like it. This is the spot that you actually would take that on, literally, but you don't have to be in a rush to do it. So something like that, I would be more. What do you feel about like a 800 Jan 2027 and then 1,000 2028 call? Because if you ladder that, that's honestly what I would do. We call ladder. So you have 2 positions, 1, 2, right? 2027 and then 28. When you get this move, assuming you get this move, you can actually take this down, and then you still have this available as your holdings, and you use that profit to basically fund those. That's how we would do it. But either way, this is the spot that you would look for this. Right.
Okay, but if someone wanted to just buy equity here and buy Meta on the dip, do you think this is the nibble, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I have zero problem with that. Like this is the nibble, and if you get lower, great. I've been saying that for a long time though, and yes, like that. That's I do think that.
ServiceNow.
I think this one and CRM kind of both go in the same bucket. These are not. Oh, she's up after hours, dude. I was not expecting to see that up after hours. Palo Alto, thank you very much. I guess I don't know. or somebody.
She is up after hours.
Yeah, she is. So this is that first spot, right? So over 210, which was like this area here, we knew she was in for a big move, right? That's the big move. So that move is completed. From here, you want to see it sustain this level. So a pullback today is not really disheartening. I actually closed my trade on ServiceNow Friday, and was at this point going to be looking for some kind of a pullback. I didn't take it today, as wasn't expecting to see this. But regardless, I think what you could say is like, if you saw this roughly around 115, I think this is probably good for a little support bounce. That's about here. Anywhere below 120, as close to 112 as you can. That is going to be very close to the prior kind of pivot anyway. So 110 was like that breakout area. So if it pulls back is what I'm saying, and holds just slightly over that breakout area, that breakout area was here, right? And if it makes a higher low here after making a higher high, and this high is higher than that high. This high is also higher. Is it higher? It's at least equal to. So it's an equal high. Yeah, I think regardless, around 115 is probably where this could pull back to and then consolidate before it makes another move. Unless it just goes to 133. But the upside here, next target is 150s. Just so everybody knows. 155.
So you like the software names, and are you impressed, I guess, by the overall rebound they've had, or?
Yeah, actually, like definitely impressed with the overall rebound. I think that the whole market, I should probably look into it because I feel like that's similar. This is into 180s, and then, sorry, these are your targets. ServiceNow, 180 and 160. There's just so nothing wrong with this company's fundamentals, like historic fundamentals. It's literally just a question of like, is the market willing to pay the old multiple? This is all this is. It's a multiple contraction on Intuit, ServiceNow, Salesforce. You look into those companies like actual earnings and revenue, there's nothing but up and to the right. Like, and all for all three of those, just as an example, it was their best quarters ever. So I think that people are starting to kind of come around to that idea. Whether or not it fully recovers, I don't know. But I think that if the storyline of AI just decimating their business models is a headline, right? Is it true? Well, it's not showing up in the numbers. The growth rate's not as good as it was, but they are still growing. That's period, end of story. So the question then just simply becomes, what is that premium worth? Because we just came from a point in the market where that premium, that level of dependability, if you will, on things like this, where we talk about ServiceNow, like what I'm talking about, this is wild, right? Like if you look at this is their revenue, right? That's nothing but up and to the right. Like their earnings are equally the same. Nothing but, I mean, that's like massively up and to the right. That's like 10-year. So this 10-year view, nothing but up and to the right. There's nothing wrong with the company itself. It's literally just a question of how much is this reliability, like this level of reliability in data, in revenue and profit, how much is it worth in terms of a premium over the typical market multiple? And that is a PE compression. Salesforce is no different, right? This is Salesforce. Like it is up and to the right, up and to the right.
So, okay. So given these software companies, can we do Microsoft? Because I think this is one of the more interesting names that's out there. By the way, MRVL over 300 after hours. So Actually, before we do Microsoft, give me your thoughts on
Maybe
Marvell.
just let it run, man. Let it run. I mean, Jensen basically told us it's going to be $1,000 company today. I'm like, or stock. Okay. I mean,
Have you seen this happen before as a trader? Like a CEO say something and
like a CEO say something? Nah.
I mean, there was no update on. There was no substantial news today about. I mean, maybe the Google TPU stuff, Marvel's part of it, but this was just like incredible to witness over the past 24 hours.
Yeah, like it really is. So like, what's funny is like, okay, here's earnings, and I'm like, we talked about this last week because I don't play earnings a whole lot. But you just kind of like this. This is like I'm kind of just done trading Marvell. Like Marvell has gone into the Robinhood bucket for me at this point. Well, actually, a long time ago, where I stopped taking trades on Marvell a long time ago because I'm like, dude, you just need to own it. Like, just own it and let the winner run. Because, I mean, good God, how many years of sideways? This is another congrats to the bag holders. Like this rip to here. Everybody's like, oh, it's over. It's too far. It's made the move. Then it goes another. And you're like, oh, it's made the move. And here we are, guys. $300. Let's go. Like, no, like just let your winner win for once.
It is really fun as well to see the names get re-rated because once they get re-rated, they're never coming back down to these levels, you know?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is like, I don't want to get too heavy into trading a name like Marvell because I'll tell you what, if I'm super active trading it, I'm going to get overly precise and I might trim at a good spot, but I don't know if I trim, I don't know that I'll go back in and I definitely won't be able to. I know myself, like I will stop myself from being able to go back in its size, knowing that like, oh, okay, like, you know, I don't care that where my cost basis is, but I will be like, okay, the momentum is just so epic. But
I did trade Marvell today.
It did.
But if I held it, it would have been of a lot more.
Dude, yeah. I mean, this is not like hopefully Qualcomm is Marvell 2.0, but you know, we have some stuff to actually we have the investor day at the end of the month for Qualcomm. But yeah, this I'm just happy. Like, okay, so like this is done. That is now my full extension. The best thing I could do here is like post earnings, we can start it again. And usually once you crack that first earnings kind of move, it's just kind of gone, right? So similar thing here, we actually held towards the lows and they got back over that 50% mark. Even at 222, you're like, okay, well, this is just kind of hitting here. And then you get the shenanigans from today. Yeah, this is just gone. So now this is what I would describe as price discovery mode. I don't see this as exhaustive yet, obviously. Maybe tomorrow it opens up at 400 and then, yeah, maybe we see some profit taking, but, and then amidst like, I really should have held. But yeah, I think that it's just a wild one. You guys stop buying it. It's still going up. You please just chill out.
Okay, let's do Microsoft. Palo Alto, by the way, taking an ugly hit from 339 to 309. So something they said on the call causing some of these red candles, but stock still is green after ours. GitLab completely losing its momentum, now down 5%.
I believe that.
And so
yeah, Palo Alto.
Actually, yeah, let's do Palo Alto, then we'll do Microsoft. Yeah, any thoughts on this one?
Palo Alto pretty stretched. I don't know why I have lines from him here. Oh, this is probably pre-split. You know, they used to be this price before they split. I mean, we're way off the lows. I mean, this is just this chart is like comedy right now. Like this CrowdStrike. I'm not like when I say like these are laughable to me, I'm like, dude, is that not just a funny looking chart? Like it's just straight big up. And this was all the SaaS apocalypse down here in the 150s, which was support over here. Like if you got the 130s, sub 140s at all, congrats. This I should have been more like glued on this end CrowdStrike. They basically gave no pullbacks, man.
Yeah.
They were just completely, once they decided that they were going over that midpoint of like 180, 190. Look at this. It was just, this is as steep as steep gets. This, you can't really consider that a pullback. You just can't. But yeah, I mean, that as long as this is over 300, I don't think you worry about it. Pulling back to about 307 right now is perfectly fine. Even if this does pull back, I could easily see this at 265 very quickly. So if it does lose 300, I would expect 265 to be where this shows up. But again, it might seem like a lot intraday. That's basically just going to be retesting kind of like that little resistance level from before, and then see if it goes that way and tries to do it again, because the momentum here is insane. It just is what it is. If you see, it doesn't sound real for a stock to be at 300 and then for me to say, if you see this at 225, I guess it's possible, but 275 to 265 is going to be your momentum support right now. And what I mean by that is just kind of like, if this is the current route, like impulse that this is on, the bottom of this, what we call channel, is about 275 right here. So about 275 to 265 would be that channel support, which keeps it in this momentum.
Marvel's up another 6%, bro.
You knew it too, dude. Whatever.
I wonder if it's retail or if it's legit institutions. They're like, no, Jensen, he said it's $1 trillion. Let's
dude, my crew was joking with me. One of my guys was like, why didn't we just buy 300 calls this morning? And I'm like, bro,
that's a hell of a, for your style of investing. Why didn't you guys just buy $300 calls?
That's not investing, bro. That's trading. I mean,
whatever.
That's aggressive. Money. That's more aggressive than I am. But yeah, I guess if I had looked at it, I bet you the person that, dude,
what if it just goes to $1 trillion, like tomorrow, or not tomorrow, in like a month? Like, what if it's just $1 trillion in a month? Like,
so that's $1,000 stock. So at this point, guys, let me ask the chat: do we or do we not FOMO into that? The option chain doesn't even go that high. Like, okay. So tomorrow the options they're gonna be brand new strikes.
Goodness, dude.
What an epic.
But they don't have the type of like, they don't have the Micron type of growth or the Micron type of forward PE. But I don't know if the market's gonna care, because Micron went to $1 trillion because it was just so undervalued, right?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, they will probably have $500 strikes tomorrow.
Yeah.
You might even be able to buy weeklies. Because I mean, the market's saying, Jensen said $1 trillion is $1,000 price tag on the stock.
Jensen, yeah. See, it's interesting because Jensen gave the same type of endorsement to ServiceNow and Adobe, but he didn't say trillion. He just said he really likes them. As soon as he said trillion last night, that's when everyone was like,
over, dude. I'm like, what? I didn't even notice, dude. We should have gone.
So
why didn't we have the Singapore? Isn't he in Singapore right now?
No, he's in Taiwan.
Where is it? Oh, dude, why did you want to do a Singapore trip? We should have had a Taiwan trip and we should have been there right now. That would have been the move, bro.
That would have been the move. Meet up in Taiwan.
100%.
We would have literally heard him say it. We could have opened up Robin and be like, bye.
Yes, dude.
I wonder how quickly from when he said it to when the price went up. It had to be like minutes from when he said it to when it was reported to the price, because it was $250 after hours last night.
Dude, I don't even know. That's crazy.
Okay, so let's do Microsoft, because this thing flipped up crazy green Monday. Yeah. Jensen News with the laptops, potentially selling chips. Today they had a whole conference, Qualcomm partnership, and now it's down. My theory, I'm curious about yours, is Google's diluting. So now the street thinks Microsoft's going to dilute. And then if IGV takes a hit, obviously Microsoft's going to take a hit. So curious if this is like the pullback that should be bought into a breakout that looked kind of inevitable on Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my
So that's
sentiment is yes. Yes. That I would say it should be. I think if you're into timing it, then you could wait a little bit longer. But you see this back into the it's 430s. Now, if you want to, so you have this breach high. So it's a similar move. So 2024 all-time high. By the way, let me just clean this up. Boom. Here. Let's go. 2 point. You guys see that? We scroll forward. Boom. To the penny. 2024 all-time high. Little wick right there in the pre-market, 470. 459 is where I had this going right now for the bear zone. I think this is fine. I think that first move probably caught a lot of people off guard. And to me, I still don't think the story is fully caught on of what. And if so, I think that the market, and I didn't watch the event today, if they didn't talk about Maya or really how they're going to go to market with this custom silicon, I think this is exactly what you see, right? Which then probably leads into something like that, most likely. So that retest to me would be a retest of this prior breakout zone right here. And this, I believe, is like 425 is where that really breached. I don't know that it gets that deep. I don't know that I would wait that long, but another, call it like $5 to $10, I think is perfectly fine right now. Because I also don't think that this is a done deal. So like if you see a 435 handle on like 3.5, that was that prior breakout. If this holds right in here, and this is exactly how this would work, is that this is now entering support, but key support 430 right here. If this holds 433, I would totally expect this to do at least a little chop. And then if it's over 440, that's how you get back into this up to 490s. So does this dip become Bible? Yes. Is it right here, right now? It's probably tomorrow to me. And so that's my sentiment. If it doesn't hold 430, cool. We can probably see 415 again to the lower end of that support zone. But I think this starts to get bought from here on out. And I think that was probably last call on last Tuesday for Microsoft in general. So from here, I would expect to see higher lows and higher highs moving forward as the new trend kind of continues, regardless of what happened, just based on sentiment. And so even if that does come into 415, this is the new trend to me. So a pullback as low as here still sets up for this kind of channel up and to the right. Oops. To me. So I'd be happy with that. Yeah,
Real
I think
quick,
this is a leap setup.
Shopify just announced a $3 billion increase to their share buyback program. So you got Toby probably thinking the stock's a little cheap right here. But okay, that makes sense on Microsoft. And I think the chip catalyst is still probably on their side.
I don't think
right
it's
now.
like priced in yet.
Yeah, I agree with you. 100% agree with you.
It's just my kind of like pipe dream right now.
Corning. What do you think about it? We were texting about this today. How are you thinking about this one?
Oh, she's going. You should go if anybody's interested in how this played out. Just go to my YouTube and watch Monday's live stream, essentially. But I think this guy, I have so many lines and things like that here. I need to clean this up for you. But here now, I think I believe we went through this in depth I believe we did last week, but there was a little session gap in the past on Corning here. And it did something similar where it tried to get through and then it kind of hits its head, but holds at this general kind of support area, which was that breakout. And we have this exact same setup right now. So like here on Corning, this is what we call like a session gap. And it tried to do that, which I'm kind of equating to the same thing as this right here. And that is off of this support area right here. So, well, that was like that, like that. I'm saying that this is the same as this. And if that, whatever day this was, Monday, was a higher low, I think if this can go through, we're going to get another shot to really fill this session gap right here. And this is how a stock like Corning looks like it's on a heavy pullback, but actually is just gearing up for a next big move into 240, 260 type level. So that's where I think Corning goes right now. Is it a one and done kind of shot? Not necessarily. I think that we could be kind of here on this chart over here, which means that we could have a little bit of a stutter step like this before it actually goes. And I think that would be perfectly fine as well. But big move today. I think Jensen's commentary was mostly, it was about connectivity. So I had a trade. I had a fairly aggressive trade on this one just because of the setup was so like picture perfect. Right here on Friday or whatever day this was, Monday, and I had a lot of confluence for that. So I think we got this, and we're heading into 210s like tomorrow. But if we open up there tomorrow and we don't continue on, I think that sets up for a possible pullback before it's able to get its legs again and actually makes the full move. So this is one where I'm like, yeah, look, this tomorrow it's going to be big from a trading perspective. If you're in short traded options, probably a big profit taking day. But longer term, this is still on its way to 250 plus. And this is exactly how that works. Also,
Palantir.
Yeah. Sorry, this trend is like perfectly intact.
Yeah, 250 has been your target for a while on this one. So
yeah, the next target for sure.
The other reason this pumped is because MRVL pumped all the optics plays. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would say it's like, well, if you look into what he said was connectivity.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I think it becomes like, yeah. I mean, I could show you something. Anyways, but it's part of this whole thesis that we've been talking about for a while, for many, many months, but expanded to the client side edge and just all connectivity all together. I think it's like this. I think that people are realizing it might not have been consensus a month ago or a few weeks ago, but I think the longer that you let this go without picking a horse and riding it, the less and less time you have, and it becomes very consensus very quickly. And that's exactly what we're seeing, because the data center side, like that boom was so fast. And I think people don't want that to happen to them again. And I think it's a very real, I think they see it as a very real possibility that they could get left behind. And I just don't think they want to actually get left behind. The FOMO trade, man. But I think it's real. All right. So Palantir actually was in this big consolidation. All the SaaS got a little love, baby. Sure did. A big pullback day today, but and again, a bit of an exhaustion. This is second day exhaustion. So unlike Nebius, where Nebius is more like day one exhaustion, today Palantir is day two exhaustion, which is usually closer to the end. So day three exhaustion, you're very likely done breathing. Either it's a full-blown washout, which does not look like what I'm seeing on Palantir. What I'm actually seeing on Palantir, as I scroll to the left, and you remember this kind of breakout area, and we remember this area here is 150, where these little green arrows are, where 150 support held in the past and served as like a launching pad to 200. This moment, after breaking out of this consolidation we've had on our radar for a long time, and we come in exhausting a little bit, come in, if you get any type of base and continuation here, I don't think you need to worry about 165 anymore. And I think that you are on your way quickly to 180s. Yeah. There you go. So I think this next dip becomes viable on the Palantir. So like this is, and this, by the way, is the difference between like what people think is trading and what actual trading is, the real bottom on Palantir is 125. I think. I'm not even trying to get close to that, right? And I'm saying, like, if I'm looking at an entry now, I need to see the biggest thing here for me is that this prior high of 162, even though slightly modestly breached, was in fact breached. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. And so I think it at least tries to get through there one more time. And if I look left, the next higher level of support, because we know that the lower end of support is in that 130 area, right? But above 130, the next higher level of support was in the past 150. And so it's just below 150. If it can hold this and we can see a new base formed here now, like that, I think that is what would set this up for a return to greatness, potentially. And if not, that's fine. Then if not, then we're back to the 135s, which I think would hold. So this becomes viable, be below 150 down to 135 with upside targets of 175 to 185 initially, and then see how it goes from there.
Marvell 315.
I don't want to deal with it right now. It's the worst, guys, because he was in this. He probably had how many shares did you have today?
500.
Yeah.
I made
$1,300 right now.
No, I bought it at 282. I sold it at 284. I made $2 a share. I was pretty fucking happy. I was like, you know what, $1,000.
Oh.
Good. Oh,
We'll take it.
Okay, Hoodie, are we back, bro?
Well, crypto ain't back, that's for sure. Well, let's take a look at crypto in a little bit. I think we could be back. I'll tell you what I really love about what's happening with the hoodlums right now is that they are separating themselves from crypto. And I freaking love that. Because you know me, like I've never liked the fact that Hood had been tied so closely to crypto. And I mean, I get it, right? And you can't deny after a certain point, but I always felt like that they deserved their own kind of lane. So I would say 185 is kind of a key pivot, but this is in fact yet again another higher high above that last 93 high. So this is on the mend to me. I think that this does make that trek to fill this session gap around 90. It's like 99 and change. But also, like, similarly, I would be patient here. If you didn't take your shot already, that's fine. I think that you could add to it. I already took my shot and I took a little profit, and I have the balance on from a trading perspective. But if this holds just in general, let's say 82, this is perfectly fine. And now we have a very large support area to defend against. I mean, I say large support area. To me, like just pure chart, no lines, no nothing yet. If I look at this and I'm like, we spent how long here? This entire area with decisively like what we call this is what we call that liquidity grab, and then you know, a higher high there. This guy. This is how this begins, and so I think you could possibly look at somewhere around this area. It could breach again and have another liquidity grab before it does this, but essentially replicating this type of structure here and putting it over here is really like what I would be looking for. And so somewhere around the $80 level, roughly, I think is perfectly fine. No lines back on. That happens to be like 85 is that IPO kind of impulse high. And this pivot here, I think that's important, or it's not super important. It's nice. Regardless, this setup on Hood is gearing up to be more parabolic than the setup on Palantir. But they're both extremely, what I would say, squeezy. I would call these squeeze setups. Like, I don't know what short interest is on either of these, but it might be worth looking into. I think a short squeeze is these look like short squeeze candidates to me.
Okay, so it's not a kind of press the gas moment here. You want to see some more confirmation over 90, basically.
Yeah, because if it is short squeeze, by the way, so I'll give you upside targets here or into the 120s. If it's a short squeeze candidate, that doesn't mean it's a real move to me. I think it's a possible move, but is it a sustained move? That's what I don't really know. And I think that's going to come down to earnings. But I do see this possibly getting up as high as 120, which is that last, on the right-hand side of my screen, is that last area of support, which was, this comes from over here, where all this support was before in this whole giant area. That becomes, I think, resistance in the future. And so let's say if pathing looked something like this, that's like 108 before earnings. The good thing here is that we have an earnings catalyst to trade into, which is slightly over your 200-day simple moving average. So I would say 108 is an upside target before earnings. If it gets extended, 120 is an upside target potential before earnings, especially on a short squeeze type move. And I do think that this is where shorts would start to cover ahead of an earnings catalyst, and new longs start to pile in, especially on this type of setup. So I like it a lot. That's August earnings, so you have some time. You don't have to rush into this. But does it actually get through that 120? That's what I don't know. And so I can see 120 happening on either an earnings catalyst or a pre-earnings run up. Does it hold that? I don't know, because if they really don't deliver, I guess this whole entire thing is possible. But I do think that $75 bottom is defendable from here on out for the rest of the year. So I think that is probably the rest of the year type of support. If we get up here to 120 and it's just a complete failure, I probably would expect to see this back to this $70, $80 level, but I wouldn't be deterred then either from taking a Q4 trade to actually get up and out again. And that would be that's the only reason I would say I'm a little cautious. I think we're going to get a bounce, but does it hold through 120s? I think a lot of things look like this. I don't want to assume it. And so because of those reasons, I kind of need to wait till after earnings, but I think into earnings, we get that pre-earnings move.
Rick Wong, thank you for the gifted 20 memberships. Rick is pretty loaded up on MRVL, so it's a good day for him. 3:15 after hours.
Dude, should we just?
Look, I think you would also
stare at it.
We could just stare at it, but
all its glory.
For the people feeling FOMO on it right now, I don't know if in the after-hour session buying it is the best option. But then again, last night, it was in the after hours. Buying it maybe wasn't the best idea, and look what happened. 5 million shares. I'm looking at the volume has been traded after hours so far. So this is not even a small amount. This is not like it's illiquid. It's lots of people.
No, it's kind of just stair stepping up. You want to do some live trading after hours?
You're gonna trade it? You're gonna trade MRVL right here?
Right here, 315.
This would be a hard one.
That would be literally it right there, just like that. Go bam. There's his day trade. But
yeah, this is pretty incredible. But I mean, look, at the end of the day, tomorrow could this be down 20? I mean, Dell got up to 490 this morning. Yeah. Dell end of the day at freaking 438. So it's just it's all fun until it takes a chill pill. And Dell still amazing earnings, right? Still went up 40%, but it's not up 70% like it was.
It's just so incredible. I mean, this is just I
Guess who now has a 307 average on MRVL?
I can't even, dude.
If it actually just goes to $1 trillion, it would be stock of the year. I think it would have to be. It would take Nebius's title as stock of the year and Micron's title if MRVL just goes to $1 trillion.
Who has MRVL? Who has it
But-
in the? I know one of you guys picked it in the draft.
Who? Oh, Chris has it, I think.
Oh no.
Oh, I didn't check the stock draft, by the way. So I'm still in first place, but what's his name? Steve is catching up to me. Steve is at 70. I'm at 74.
Oh,
Matt's
man.
at 68. Tanner's at 17. Chris is at
Didn't-
45. Chris does have MRVL.
Oh at $70. That's like my average, bro.
That's crazy, dude. All right. We're going to see. But yeah, I mean, it looks like this one has just got re-rated from Jensen, and
Yeah.
it's not slowing down. Okay. After MRVL, ASTS and the space names. What are you thinking here with the space trade right now?
Are we done with day trading this after dark? Or are we gonna double down?
No,
Anyways.
we got to double down, of course.
Yeah. So ASTS was 104 yesterday, and this is our trade map that we've kind of mined, and I'm just gonna say ours because like it's collective. So the support, what was resistance right here at 104 today, last night, literally acted as support for the next launch fest. I mean, that's cool. It's all well and good. We have that 130 all-time high. I mean, this from a trade location perspective down here or anything down here was pretty epic. And then you have this massive run. Congrats, first of all. As long as it's holding 105, call it 100. As long as it's holding 100, I think you're at least going to attempt to get to the 130. I can't believe I'm like really looking at this right now because the majority of the trade is over, but you have another leg that's has always to me been into the 170s. And so while it basically just made a new all-time high, I think we clearly saw some profit taking here. Rocket Lab is very similar. And so I would expect it to kind of base out sideways while people decide if they want to buy more or not, which would be around $100 to 105 to $100. I'll say the same level on Rocket Lab is 110. But yeah, they both held like perfectly today, even though it felt, over this last week, since Friday's close at 130, it probably felt like an aggressive pullback. It honestly wasn't. It's not destructive by any means to the chart. The chart still is holding the whole thing. Do you want to do Rocket Lab or no?
Yeah, we should Rocket Lab too.
When is this IPO?
June 12th. I feel like the SpaceX IPO still is the catalyst for all these names.
Is it a sell the news?
I think the IPO is actually going to go very well. Like, I think it's going to be a massive success, and therefore I think Rocket Lab, ASTS, that day, if it's a success, you probably want to trim them if you're trading it, but I don't think it's a sell the news.
Okay. So 120 right here, this is like where you want it. It went sideways here just not that long ago. I don't want to see it really lose like that 120 in strength, because if it does, then I would assume that we get that $100 like pullback. So that's why I was saying, like, I think how did I have 110? I don't know how I had 110 before, but 99 is like a full-blown pullback, but I don't have this pulling back here yet. I have it holding at 121. So as long as it's holding, you're intact. It just was this 140 level on the extension, that it didn't hold. So we're going to pull back to this prior level, and then we'll try to do this one more time. If we can actually get a close over 143, then this is how this gets to 170s, 165, 170. So it's a momentum trade from here, and you need to see it hold.
Okay. Micron.
It's $1,000 to 1064. I mean, it broke through 700 or 750. So when it goes over 750, then it's going to 1200, right? So we're just waiting for 1200 now.
Okay,
Like,
so
in all seriousness, this is last consolidation. I'm like dead serious. We're just waiting for 12. We're a one stop right here. It's a stop. It could see 1150 tomorrow. No problemo. But we just, I know this gets messy when I say this. I don't want to see it below. If it cannot hold 1,000 clean, that's when we have like, okay, so it's going to take a little bit of a chop pullback, which could take you back down to 8s, like 820s. But even if this, so what that looks like is like here, it's got to hold 9. If it doesn't hold 9, it goes to 818. I think that's the most pullback that you could probably expect here is 818 on Micron. And that's actually going to test exactly this prior top. And there's a little kind of gap from this area. I think it's overnight. So that would be worst case scenario. So support around 8, just under 820. But this is on trajectory to at least 1150 in the near term.
Nokia.
Oh, I had a lot of people yapping at me about Nokia today. Oh, that's why. Because she held.
Nokia and BlackBerry both just went off today.
Well, Nokia doesn't have a new high yet. It did that first thing where like it's that first shot to fill this little fair value. What do you call it? And it's there holding. So I think this is 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, next shot she goes. So any pullback from here should take this to 18s. I don't have any problem saying that. And this is our line from last week. Oops, shoot. Do I need 5 minutes still?
No, we could do like 1:30 or whatever. Usually.
I think I have.
Yeah, 1:30 is fine.
Yeah, so this is our line from last week. So this is whatever we drew this as a pullback into 14s, and we said like don't be discouraged. That's where support ended up being. We're holding over that 1594. I think it's small dollars, but this is on its way to 20s, 22, and then ultimately 28. I don't even need this timer right now. But that is Nokia. You just do not want to see it from here below 1380.
BlackBerry, do you think this chart's a little bit more productive than Nokia?
I have not looked at BlackBerry. I don't know the story on BlackBerry.
Yeah, look at that chart. But this took 5 years of holding it at $2. I mean, 2021.
Yeah, it was a different story. I remember them buying Silence somewhere in here, which I'm assuming they still own. Silence Silence was this CrowdStrike competitor at the time. I don't know their current story. This is a software company in today's day and age. It is a company. I don't know the angle right now, but I'm clearly missing it. And so this is a re-rate for sure on some kind of client-side edge story here. They have some, this chart is screaming at me like they have some kind of software that's got some kind of thing, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. But 1239 is next. If this can hold over 1035, this becomes a pure momentum play. It is definitively at resistance right now. So 1039, this is one where I would probably not chase this after hours at all. But if this can hold, either it gaps up and it opens over 1239 and just holds over 1239, that's fine. Or this pulls back and you get a retest into 879s. One of the two. But this, where it sits after hours, is kind of in no man's land. So this one, I don't like the trade location, either on further extension and then consolidation over 1240, or a pullback and hold close to 850, 875. I like it. But yeah, there's a story here. I just don't know what it is personally.
ARM. I've researched their QNX platform. It works with NVIDIA.
QNX. Okay.
Yeah, that's
what does it do?
Thing. Robotics and self-driving. it plays a role in that.
Yeah, so that's client side edge to me.
Yes, exactly, client side edge. So that theme is really hot right now, and then also the retail audience behind it is becoming bigger.
So wait, can we go back? So are we going to 20 on BB? BB?
What's the market cap of it?
Is BB 20 BB?
It's at 6 billion. 20 would be 12 billion.
Yeah, 20. 20. If it holds 1239, all I'll say is that 20 was going to be the target.
I don't know, but I think it's very possible in this market.
Yeah,
it's very possible.
Is that scary or what? I don't know if that's scary. I don't know.
I don't know.
Congrats to Sam, by the way. This guy calls me on ARM, and he's like, I think there's a serious thesis here, but the thesis was on their physical chip. I was like, I don't know if that's the one, like on that thesis, which it wasn't, but he was right in general. I think that's this kind of market. Like, you can have an idea. It might not be what makes it move, but you're in the realm, and holy shimoly, this is like full extension to me at 400. I think this has if I pulled this on a daily chart, like it's just gap. This looks like the stonk market out of like Liberation Day, out of COVID, where it's like a gap day, gap. Every weekend, this gap's higher. Absolutely parabolic. I feel like this is another discovery mode, price discovery mode. Zero question that this is in price discovery mode. So you have 100% hit all your extension targets at 407 here from this initial consolidation of multiple years. But this is one of those cases where the longer the base, the higher in space is the saying. And there you have it. One. You got a triple. So if you were to get a quadruple, that's got a 515 handle on it. Very rare thing. But I think that with this what are we going to call this? Price discovery mode here. It's legitimate. Like, you don't know how to value this, because what just came out today is yet another, like, it's in the stock chart, but it's like, okay, does ARM actually have a PC play that's like going to be as sticky as, and maybe this is another reason why Microsoft didn't. I mean, the ARM NX1, what is it? NX1, the architecture that Jensen kind of announced with ARM for PCs. Yeah, IPC, that NX1/ARM architecture, they're going to get a license for all of it. Does Microsoft lose in that scenario? I don't think so. Or I don't know. But if they do, that might be another reason why Microsoft is having a little bit of a pullback. But anyways.
ARM and MRVL are similar in the sort of parabolic run based on these new catalysts for MRVL optics for ARM CPUs. Both the valuations are really hard to get behind, but as you said, they consolidated for years before they broke out.
Years. Yeah, both of these. I thankfully I have SoftBank. I don't own ARM. My softy dude is like
it's doing well, right?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just bought it in this little consolidation, like around $12. Like somewhere in here. But yeah, like this is doing the same thing. I liked SoftBank. I don't know if you can buy this on Robinhood or not. I think we talked about it, and I think you said you couldn't buy it on SoftBank, or I think you said you could not buy SoftBank on. Oh, you can? So I like SoftBank because a lot of people are also looking for those like SpaceX kind of like proxies also. Dude, this guy, he's in all kinds of shit. Sorry. So like this is to me like my way of playing some of that also, in addition to ARM, knowing that he's leveraging that equity also. So yeah, this is up, double since then, but there's a lot more than just ARM in here. And yeah, he sold his NVIDIA way early, but they're all over the place. So anyways, I like SoftBank still.
Okay, Elaine in the chat wants LUMN, which is ironic because you asked me for LUMN, or you texted me about LUMN yesterday. So what are you thinking about this?
Wait, Lumentum or Lumen?
LUMN, LUMN.
Oh, no, this is ready. So this is ready to me in terms of like, okay, here's your high 2024. So this is a 2-year breakout that's happening right now. This is, so in terms of, we get on the fourth shot. So you have 1, 2, call it like 3. And then this is shot number 4. And so we're just, and now we're holding over. So 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, 3 here. And this whole thing is the 4th shot over here. 1, 2, 3. Number 4.
I really like this setup. This one is like this one is easy enough for me for like someone who's beginning TA to understand.
Yeah. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So this big base, you can very clear, this is a daily chart. I could do this on a weekly chart. Massive base and resistance, which it was support over here very cleanly, $9.64. And then a huge breakdown, tries again. And this usually on the 4 shot, and you can see it a little cleaner here. 1, 2, 3, 4 shots. And then when I start to zoom in and you look at this is actually the first time over here. The difference is that we've had 1 full week, only 1 that actually was over. And then the very next week, it broke back below. So over here so far, right, we have 1 full week last week, which was my real trigger. This full week open and close completely, basically completely over that main event. And this week right now, absolutely completely over. And so this one, I think you could take your time with. I think this is absolutely a leap setup. Here's a monthly view, and you can extend that again. But this is, I don't really want to say this. So I haven't done the math or any of that kind of stuff, but like this looks like it's going to take a shot into the high 20s. Because if this support actually holds and ends up as a launch pad, and this is not a near term, this is not a day trade thing. This is like a positional trade, meaning like you need to be here and you need to be patient for a long time if you want to do this. But if you do it, it's probably worth it. This first attempt is into the mid 20s, and it into the high 20s here would just be coming back into this prior broken support, which again, even if I took the absolute lowest point of that, which is going to be somewhere like that, that's $20, which is a double from here. And so as we get through this, you have a couple little points of contention. So probably like 15, which I think if all goes well, what I'm talking about is like being 15 by the end of summer to Q3, somewhere in there, getting that first kind of press, which you could get some like resistance over here around 15 and change. So I would target that zone first, but have plenty of room available and time for an extension into 20 and some potential chop into 30s by next year, maybe.
So I think this looks very clean. Jason and I were talking over the weekend. We don't know how we're going to structure, but we want to make like a technical Tuesday portfolio where when we both agree on a trade, it'll mainly be Jason. I mean, look, as I get better at TA, I'll suggest some setups, but it'll be really Jason kind of introducing us setups and then people kind of seeing, does this make sense? This LUMN one makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it's going to work out, but it makes a lot of sense technically. And
yeah,
we need to set up like 25 grand for us to just take the trade and kind of see what happens.
Yeah. So like just an example, and we would do it sizing, right? As an example, like I think the first chunk of this would be like 2027, January, like 15 calls. Like that, literally that simple. And even if in a $25,000 portfolio, I mean, those are, it's not like 20 calls. Those are $150. That is such a,
we would do like $2,500 worth of those calls essentially.
Not even like, and so like, this is where I would come in. I would do like 1,000. I would do like 10 of them at most, with a $25,000 portfolio, because if this gets here, that, which is like, what is that percent? That's like 2.5%. That would be 5%. This move
Yeah.
right there, that would take a 5% position and honestly turn it into a 25% position. And we don't want a 25% position. We'll just keep it there. But that's like the power of what options could put. If done right, this is not hot, like in terms of volatility. You're buying it when it's about to break out, but it's taken so long. You have your earnings catalyst right now into end of August. You've got plenty of time between now and the next earnings catalyst. So we know, we don't know, but I think this is on its way to take another shot towards that 15. Trimming into strength beforehand. Anyways, yeah. What made you say that? I thought that was a secret mission.
Well,
Somebody
now that
asked.
this one, I actually think the setup looks so clean that eventually we got to set up this port, because when you and I both agree on it, and when like the chat agrees on it, like if everyone's like, okay, this makes sense, and maybe we take the trade. So we'll figure out the technicalities of how to.
Yeah, I mean, mixing the fundamentals and the technicals,
it helps. Yeah.
Oh, that's the sauce.
A couple things after hours. So Palo Alto loses the entire pump and now goes red.
Ooh.
So something they said on the call was not good. Number 2 is SpaceX setting IPO terms on Wednesday. So tomorrow.
I think a lot of people are going to try and trade Crowd. Sorry for interrupting. Also, as a proxy to this, I will say Crowd almost always sells off on their earnings. Almost always. And then gets bought up right after. So, but this level of a run up is also unprecedented. The fact, honestly, dude, the fact that Palo Alto is even.
Yeah, I'm not crazy, right? This is not a name that goes up 60% in a year. Like, this is a bull market fueled name. It's a good company, but they don't go up like this,
If Palo Alto was down 30% off this earnings report, I would not bat it. I would not blink. Like, I feel like it would still be a buy.
Well, who do you think's bidding this up?
I think so. This is what I was kind of talking about. Like, I think that we could have another green day, and then we quickly, we sit back from the hysteria of the raging bull market, which it is, and then we say, maybe we take a little profit before NFP actually comes out. And I think that sets up a bit of a pullback at the end of the week. But by the time the week is over and we're on to next week, I kind of think that maybe it takes 2 weeks, but I think we'd be right back to where we were, if not higher.
Love it. Makes sense. It makes sense. AMKR, can we do this one?
Oh, big move today. So, like last time I said, this is on, it is on its way to 100. This is on its way to 100. VAV also. Both of these, like, I actually net new positions on these guys for me, adding, even though, this cost base would be significantly higher than emits. I don't think it matters because, again, here now, this was that 65. 65 was the more recent low here. I think $70 being a higher low than that, getting right back over its 20-day. We got 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth attempt. 1, 2, 3. Fourth attempt at the $75 high. I think we go. I think we go, baby. It's go time. Again, if this is over 76, it is go time, though. And then we should initially be at 95s and then potentially 105s. And everybody knows what happens after that. Yeah, using my same kind of trading bucket, same setup, similar setup, just kind of breach that 20-day simple, hold the 50, kind of back up right in here. This one's got a little bit more to go. 55 and a half is that next one. But generally speaking, these consolidations have more or less consolidated enough to me and are ready. So unlike other stocks, these to me are in fact ripe and ready to run. So here's the consolidation of VAV. This is a how many day a 40-day consolidation. I know it doesn't look like much on the screen, but it is. Same thing with AMKR. This is a also 45-day consolidation post earnings. This is how it works. So these stocks have been resting. It is time for them to make a run. Whereas some of the other stocks that have been running, it's probably time for them to take a rest, like a Nebius. Who knows?
TSM.
Dude, so TSM is one where like we don't do this one very often. Probably should. I don't trade it that much. Probably should. This thing is just it's a beast of another flavor for sure. Taiwanese. I almost got Taiwan for lunch today. I thought about it, but instead I didn't have much time, so I went to the supermarket. I legit got a pack of sushi.
You didn't even eat it yet? Oh yeah,
No, because I didn't eat it yet, dude. It's so bad.
You know, Jensen was walking around Taiwan eating all this street food. There was a bunch of pictures yesterday.
Yeah, I did though get the Asahi near beer. Because last time I was just like it made me kind of crave it. So yeah, so this is happening. We are 435 to 450. Here's that first upside target. This one is like a setup inside of a setup inside of a setup. I say setup. Some people might not know what I'm talking about here. But if this gets through so it's 460 next. Dude, I don't want to take any more trades. I have a problem right now, dude, and I just don't like it. It is what it is. So it's 475 if this continues over. You just chat will help me. I'm at a point right now, dude, where I today looked at my portfolio and I'm like, oh my God, my trading portfolio. And I was like, I'm up a lot. And I'm like, hold on a second. I don't exactly know what it is that is taking my portfolio up because they were all going. And I hate that feeling. That is actually a pretty scary feeling for me. So I'm a little concerned about that.
Yeah, because each trade you take on, you introduce a lot more risk.
Yeah, and in a scenario like this, it's like if you're too spread out, it's like it's risk multiplied essentially. And there's no sell everything and run button. Like it just doesn't exist, especially from a trading account perspective. So I gotta pare it back and maybe raise some cash before Friday, just in case. So like if I'm thinking that way, guys, I'm just saying there might be other traders out there that are thinking that way because this has been an amazing run. And I need to protect some profits before we go to the next one because like you're looking at like the AMKR, I'm not worried about it. But like CRWV, I probably should have taken a lot more than I did, I guess. I'm also not too worried about it because I actually really like CRWV. Akamai, amazing day. Fastly, amazing day. We outlined that. Yeah, like, dude, it's mostly, it's a lot of corning for me right now. Even my Honeywell is doing well. Dude, I took Apple again, laddered onto yeah.
Connect your Robinhood account to Claude and then tell Claude to sell everything. There you go. That's what you
it'll market orders, like market sell at the absolute lows. I guarantee it.
Okay, let's do a Fastly and Akamai. What do you think about those two?
Well, Fastly, we kind of outlined last week of this is how it starts, right? This is how the recovery starts right here, right now. Also 17.25 right here was that it happens to be the first time I opened this was over here at 21. And I was like, I really wanted it in this $17 range anyways. I actually wanted it in this range, but I didn't get it. And I just saw it and I was like, well, like, I don't think I'm going to get it. You got it this time. I think, that was it's a big run into this. And I think for a lot of people, probably frustrating because it didn't hold its thing, but again, hold its move. But again, that's earnings. That's how the game is. If you don't get that, sorry, don't know what to tell you. This moment here now, this is a nice moment. Is it the moment? No, I think last week I said Fastly is starting here and now. And before you blink, this could be a $22 stock. That's exactly what happened. Within 24 hours time, it was $18 to 22 and change. That's how she goes. So the next move here is to 24.5 and then 27. If this is over 27, it's over 30. Quick, short, to the point, right? it needs to hold. This can also pull back significantly here to 18 and still be completely valid. So what I'm saying is that this needs to come through. We can see a lot of like back and forth like this. This can come all the way back in 18 and still be a long. I think how you trade this, if you decide to trade that, matters. But as long as this is over 17 from here on out, period, end of story, she is on the mend. Like I was saying with Zscaler and some of these other names that have gone up quite a bit and pulled back significantly on earnings, I think the vast majority of them get a mulligan, meaning like a do-over, like a retry, especially with this environment that we're in. I don't think that Fastly is not like that. I think that's exactly what we're seeing now. And this is exactly how it begins to play out. So it is a process to recover. I'd give it like a few weeks, like 3-4 weeks before it's back to the 30s. So in between that, you can see plus 10% days, minus 7% days very easily. You can see a 15% day on Fastly. It's just how she rolls. You kind of have to know what like the personality of the stocks that you're trading are. But I like Fastly here now, especially if this holds 17 for the foreseeable future, call it the entire year. If this gets back on track, just back on track, this was on track to be 50 and then some.
It was on track to be 50, and then it took a beating on earnings. But
yeah, it's on track to be 50 and then some. And I think this is one where you and I could probably even 70. Where you and I could probably even do a similar kind of thing. This setup is another short squeeze setup. I would not be surprised to see this at 30 by the end of next month, quite frankly.
Yeah, 100% agree. Especially if agentic inference in general is a tailwind.
So it's so laughable. I think this is gonna be as laughable as AI taking out security, dude.
Yeah. Agreed.
Honestly.
Agreed. SoFi.
Wait. It brings us to the big boy.
Sorry. Yeah. Let's do this.
So tell them about the deal. Expansion.
So you're with NVIDIA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was this morning. NVL 72 rack systems with Akamai. That was what, 4% around 11 a.m. You were in the chat that day or this morning.
Well, so that they've had this deal. It's an expansion, I think, to the existing deal. And why would they need the expansion is after a raising, by the way, having raised on Akamai already, holding like 140 is now this here. That's that earnings high. Remember, this is this company's earnings report has re-rated the entire industry here. Holding 150 from here on out, I think this is about to be a very important spot. So nearly 165. I think if this holds 150s or even like 142, I could see a pullback. That's fine to me. But this is on its way to be $200 on the next stop. 190s, high 190s to low 200s, ultimately to 250 in the year kind of scenario in my mind, which seems like a lot. Again, this is currently sitting at a $20 billion market cap. So it's possible to get up there. It's just, it would take a little while. It's a slower moving stock. So I'd say equity is perfectly fine on something like this. I think this is a great company to hold from here moving forward. Did you say SoFi?
SoFi. And again, the Akamai deal, the one Jason's talking about, is the Anthropic $1.8 billion deal last earnings. That's what really.
Yeah. So they've been talking about the deal. It was solidified and expanded upon. And they're just the fact that NVIDIA partnership is expanding also kind of the read through is that the Anthropic deal is also expanding and growing as well, which is what I think the market's going to expect moving forward. So not a higher high on SoFi, unfortunately. It's like barely there, but good thing here is it's in consolidation again. I don't think that my sentiment changes on this at all. I think 1850 is a big pivot on SoFi. So if you get like a weekly or monthly close over that, after NFP, if we start trading over 1850, then yeah, this is back into the very low 20s, call it 23 by the end of the summer. But that's kind of the trajectory this is on anyways, quite frankly. If this holds this low. It's similar to a Palantir and a Hood, whereas if a drawdown, or we call it retracement here, holds a higher low from here moving forward, this is in that consolidation kind of setting. So I think this looks good. Is it a momentum trade? The good part about this is it is not a momentum trade right now. And if you got called away, which I know some people in our group did get called away on SlowFi, and we were like, what do you do? The best thing to have done in that scenario is to let your stocks get called away and immediately start selling puts right here, right now. So I like this.
Amazon.
Dude, what's she doing? Well, we knew.
Dilute with Google. They're all going to dilute us.
You stop
They're
that.
all
Right
going to dilute us. We talk about
Um,
penny stocks diluting us. You got Max
Yeah.
Sevens diluting us.
So this is a lower high. I think this goes all the way down. Yes, this is at that midpoint of support from the earnings. This is from the earnings low to the earnings high. That's what that is. But because this is a lower high here, I don't like that. I think this goes into 256, 265s, 255s right there, which quite frankly is not like.
Could you see it below 250?
I could.
Do you think it's
Would I-
probable?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's going to 245 right now. So like between 250 and the difference between 250 and 245, I don't really care. This is like Google. So this is the same setup to me as Google, like where, this is, let's call it heavy. Typically, if this is, the stock, you remember when we say like umbrellas are bearish and umbrellas are typically bearish, and then bulls. What do you have a bull? I don't really have a bull. Bulls are bullish. This is not a clean chart. Like, that in like if I'm teaching my son how to trade, here you go. A bull is bullish and an umbrella is bearish. Even a big umbrella is bearish to an extent, right? But ultimately, they always resolve higher, especially in stocks like this. I say always. I think 245. If you see 245 on Amazon, anything near that, this is that prior resistance right here. So all of this, you see this? So resistance, resistance, resistance. This is actually somewhat healthy. So here now, it hasn't really gotten a chance to thoroughly test that 245 level. This is 2025 all-time high, 2025 early high. I think if you do see any pullback here, similar to Google at 250, no, 350. Yeah, if you see this, that's Bible, dude. I think so. So I think you're setting up and you just wait for this to come to you. I think you wait for this to come to you. Next.
Okay.
Someone says BWXT. Sorry.
I was gonna say Tesla, but we could do this too.
Oh, do you know this?
Is this a power company?
It is kind of a power company, dude. I'm proud of you. Yes.
Ooh, look at
That was
that.
good. It's
It's
the
up
nukes.
2% this year. Is this the next one to move?
Okay, so these guys make nuclear components. So like if you're into nuclear energy, they make all
Good.
the-
I love it. Let's buy it.
I already own it.
Nuclear components? I'm in.
Yeah.
Give me that
So-
shit. There, I'm in. There we go.
Yeah. So nuclear fuel for U.S. naval nuclear propulsion program, submarines, aircraft, carriers, commercial. It's a defense, but it's fabricates commercial nuclear steam generators. So the actual generators, the nuclear steam generators they make.
They
Fuel
just need
handling
that
system,
AI somewhere on the website.
reactor
Nuclear
component.
AI.
It's reactor component. Like if you really like nuclear stuff, which by the way, you can look into some of the nuclear stocks. They're going nuclear. right now.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Crazy.
That's also why I'm joking, but I also like the nuclear stocks are up a lot the past week.
Yeah.
This one's
So
not
this
up
is
that much.
this is an under the radar nuclear stock because it's not like producing nuclear fuels, but this company makes all the components to turn the nuclear energy. Does that make nuclear dust into energy? That's what
But
these guys do.
Isn't that the perfect
It
picks
is,
and
dude.
shovels type of
Absolutely.
narrative, right?
Especially because not many people know about it.
And it's it's
17
not a small cap. Yeah, 17 billion.
No, 17 billion. So it's a little heavy, right? So as this comes in, I think from here right now down to like 180 is your buy zone. Actually, I'm doing that right now. So like if I see this, I will pick this up again. This is not actually a short-term kind of trade here. This chart is also godlike, by the way. So like I wouldn't be in a huge rush, but this is one where equity, not options, I would just DCA slowly into, be happy knowing that I'm going to build a position that could last for decades from here.
But year to date, it's only up 2%. It hasn't really
Exactly
moved.
my point. It's a sleeper, dude. Nobody knows about this company. I can't believe anybody in your chat even knew about this company. Kramer recommended it. Oh my God. Forget it. I take it back.
They did 800 million in revenue, so they traded basically 8 times sales roundabout, which is not.
Yeah. It's not bad, dude. I'm just saying, if you want to be in nuclear, I think this is the best real. So other than Talon, my 2 nuclear plays are Talon and CEG, which Talon is good. It's not purely nuclear though. Let's just be crystal clear. This is an energy plant that has some nuclear reactors, but that's not all they do. CEG is the largest nuclear company in the US, very real, but they have that Microsoft project that keeps getting put on hold. As opposed to like UEC, which is fine. This is another uranium energy corp, or just the general broad quad U, which we talked about last Tuesday and said trade location. This is why trade location is such a big deal. Trade location last Tuesday was right here. This is it. So this is going into this area, which is what we outlined last week. So UUU, CEG, TLN, we just covered. Those are all nuclear plays. I think the real power play, other than GE Vernova, which is a consensus power play, and also a never sell, this is a little heavy. But again, we know that the construction projects are being pushed back a little bit. So seeing something like CEG pull back, I think you just let it do its thing and breathe. If you want an energy play that's not necessarily nuclear, that's very real, you go to Eaton. If you want to be a long-term shareholder of something, ETN, this is the other one. This is the one. This here now, yeah, you're ready to rumble, my dude. But also not a small cap. But this, when I talk about things like that at $155 billion, you guys need to understand one thing about me is that I'm not actually in wealth creation mode as much as people like think. Right? I'm very much more in wealth preservation with the side of growth, which is what my group makes fun of me for. But Eaton is it was my first energy pick of the year. Just there, new ad. But I think this is similar to Honeywell, whereas this is a very long base. We're talking 2 years of general consolidation. It is their time. No question to me on Eaton. But BWXT, very good. More speculative. You got to have a very long-term viewpoint on this. But picks and shovels of uranium, I think, is going to be the first to go regardless.
VSAT?
VST is a similar bucket, but
no, VSAT.
Oh, DSAT?
VSAT.
Well, VSAT. What is this? I know this company. What is this? What do they do?
Communications, high-speed satellites, broadband.
Client side. Okay, so it's connectivity is what Jensen's talking about. So VSAT is, what list is this on for me? This is on a list. This is happening. Holy moly. I missed it. So one of you guys probably, this can't be me.
Yeah, it's our boy Ceviche in the chat.
Yeah, from 52, I think I likely outlined 65, and now it's well beyond. So what what this is heading for, you're really close to this 86. Oh, you're there. So you're at 86 and you've pulled back. Let me show you what this looks like. So here's the whole bull. Remember, bulls are bullish. So the bull is going to be in here. And as you track the bull, this is so dumb. It goes like from one phase to the next. So you're 86. So here now you're probably going to come in and you're going to, if VSAT can hold 63, 62s, expect, so you just got past earnings. You did not go through that. So expect that this base is somewhere around 62, 63. If it can hold that, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with this chart. It's actually fully intact. You just didn't get through that very last like baby kind of blip on the radar. I think it's going to be 78s, give or take. But if it can get through 87, you're 97. And honestly, at this point, if you're holding 65s, we're going to call this a 150 stock, $150 stock.
Okay. MRVL continuing to move after hours.
Oh, did he move? Did you move your cost basis up? You're 315 now? It's confirmed. Oh my.
This is amazing, dude. This is pretty freaking amazing. OUST. Have you heard of this name? Ouster?
Yeah. Robotics? Well, I only come from your crew. It's not one that comes through my house that often.
Big base consolidated. Like,
I mean, yeah, I don't know what
consolidated.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. What not that it really matters, and we're gonna swag this. I guess it's trying to get to 70s. So yeah, okay. So 45. So 45 is the other kind of like situation. So when you get to 45 and you can get through 45, then you know you're on your, it's like this. It goes like from 45 to 75, from 75 to 120. That is actually the real succession of how these things work. If you cannot get through this level, then it's back to 25. So it's got to get through 50s. You're on this larger consolidation here now. You're right there. It's at resistance, not necessarily a spot where I'd want to press new money, but it's definitely monitor and let this do its thing. As long as it can hold momentum, it's trying. So 49.90, it's really trying. If it can get through that, it is in the 70s for the next move. No idea what this company does. 2.8 billion, probably not even that big of a deal. High resolution digital LiDAR. There you go.
Yeah, LiDAR.
Dude, what's up with my Rivy right now? I was thinking that's not
Rivian pumped.
What the hell? So it's not there. It's not doing it. I almost trimmed this. Like, you're too early, Rivy. What are you doing? Stop it. I don't know.
Well, didn't they announce R2 updates?
Yeah, dude. But like, come on. We know that shit's it's coming. I guess. I still can't buy one. Do you think I should get an R2 instead of waiting for an R3? I think I'll just get an R2. What do you think?
I think you should get a Model Y. That's better.
No, dude. Bleh, bleh, bleh.
It's up to you, but
not happening.
Yeah, get an R2. You got to support their deliveries.
Yeah.
Okay, Tesla. What are you thinking?
Oh, there was another stock. It wasn't Tesla. It wasn't Rivian. You asked for.
No, I asked for Tesla.
Oh, okay. 415, man. 415 is holding. Look, this is like Tesla is like this close away from being a $500 stock. I'm serious. So if 415 holds, which it held today, I want to launch this tomorrow. I think last time when we talked, I said if you chased it here or here, you're probably too early. Now it's come back in, and this is the process. So this is actually a very good look on Tessie. I don't mind this at all. And so what I'm looking at is I'm looking at a very nice consolidation in here that's getting really tight. So as this tries to consolidate just like this, I think this is exactly what we're going to see. So first of all, this initial, this recent downtrend is absolutely done, right? So we're out of that pullback. We're into the next kind of uptrend. And that general uptrend, this is the bottom of that channel. So once again, trade location matters. This is, as opposed to up here, this is a better trade location. As close to 415 as you can. As long as she's holding, this becomes tradable to me. Now, the first move doesn't have to break out. So like resistance is at 445. But if we start getting a weekly close over 445 or like after this week, if this is trading over 445 next week, it's very likely that this is going to be 500 the week after that, or very close to, call it 480 the week after that. And that's how this is going to work. And this is going to be essentially the bowl right here. And yeah, this is how it begins. It's a process. It's not an event. So there's time. And you want to take it in phases. And if this does go, well, over 500, it's very likely a straight shot to 6. But with earnings at the end of next month, I don't see how it doesn't. At least this is probably close to 500 by earnings next month. Now, whether or not that's tradable for you guys, that's on you. But this is actually not a spot where I would start selling covered calls on Tessie. This is a spot where we can say it's been great to sell covered calls. At this point, you stop doing that, and you want to see what it has in store. So I would say start taking down the cover calls and just see what she's got in the tank, because you got a couple catalysts.
AMD.
Not financial advice. What a disgusting chart, dude. What do you like? At a certain point, these become very difficult now.
I mean, if you're early and you're holding, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's just a thing of beauty. Fully
I
intact.
remember when it pulled back from 350 to 320, 315, and everyone was like, "All right, it's gonna take a break." Went right up to 500 a week later.
Well, it took a huge break, massive consolidation through the all-time high, through 268. I'm having to take this near-term consolidation from 470 down to 390. And we're at the first stopping point. So as long as this is holding 510, it's got a 550 number on it. I don't want to say 600, but I need to say it could be 600. So at this point, this is another one where like, I don't know that I want to start selling calls here, because if this goes any higher, it's at 600s. Selling calls on these companies, dude, is like,
dude, why won't AMD be $1 trillion this year? Like at this point, if MRVL's getting this type of value, like it's kind of obvious it's going to $1 trillion.
It is obvious it's going to $1 trillion, dude. Thank you very much. So let's call it 750 for the next spot. 450 is your real support here. I know those are really big. So here, in reality, I can talk about this chart all day long. I think what the new reality is on AMD is that for as close to 400 as you can, right in here, that was that last consolidation. Doesn't look like consolidation. There's like 1 month of consolidation followed by a little what we call like liquidity grab and then back up. So this is about 450 right here. This box is your support. Now, believe it or not, I don't care. It is what it is. And so like as long as it's holding that $400 general level, I know it's a lot, it's probably going to be $750, which is probably near exactly $1 trillion if I were to swag this.
Yeah.
Is it if I close?
Well,
Or you
600,
saying yes to-
600 is $1 trillion.
Oh, 600. Okay.
Yeah. But to your point, once it cracks 600, it's not stopping. Like it's going much higher.
And Jensen couldn't say that AMD is going to be the next $1 trillion company. Nobody would allow that. It's not happening.
Zeta.
Could you imagine? Never happening. Not in a million years. Not happening, guys. Zeta's doing his thing. So nice job on Zeta, dude. So resistance is at 28s, high 28, mid 28s, mid 27s to 28s right here. If it can get through that, I mean, it's the same process every time. So what you guys are starting to see right now on my charts is something that doesn't happen that often, but you're seeing my setup. And this is actually unique to me. I don't know any other traders that do it like this from a swing perspective. But when I come out and I say, oh, this stock's going there, most people would just look at it and be like, oh, you're crazy. You know what I'm talking about. But I think after so many years, you've actually seen it happen. And some of these targets maybe seem a little overly aggressive. But it's because they're systematically acquired, if you will. And the longer that we do this Technical Tuesday, the more my sauce is kind of revealed. And I don't know how I feel about that, but it's okay. But this is, if it can get through 28.5, it's like 36s. From there, we're TBD. I don't know what your target is on this guy, but I can tell you that a stretch target, if it's a full-blown re-rate, takes it to 65s.
Yeah, and valuation-wise, that would actually be super reasonable. That would not be overvalued.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So from a technical level, it supports the fundamental case.
Agreed.
So are we doing the $35 leaps on this? I forgot.
I just have shares, dude. I don't have any leaps.
So this one I would probably put in the port for 35 leaps.
Yeah. Yeah. 2020.
If it doesn't, yeah. If it doesn't pay me a divvy, like I would probably on something like this and this setup that could go very parabolic, I would take the optionality probably in addition to the equity.
T1.
She had a good day today. There's not the sock you were asking for.
Yeah, there you go.
So we had 11:30 as the next stop. There she is. As long as it's holding that. Is this after hours? No, I don't know. Yeah, after hours she's holding. So she's going through. This looks like 13s. Next stop, you want to see it extend. So tomorrow it can open up around 13. Just know that that's roughly where this has kind of gotten rejected in the past, 1350s. So if you see this open up tomorrow, clock the highs of the day in the pre-market and or early trading hours, expect to pull back to 1130s. So the way this is setting up is that, hey, 1350 is there. It's on the map, but it's heavy resistance right now.
Qualcomm.
These are upside targets over here. Qualcomm, the Quail man, dude.
They had a lot of press today with Microsoft.
Bro, I'm just saying.
350.
Okay, well, 300 first. Can we just go one step at a time? It is 450, but I want to go one step. I don't even know that the option contracts go that far out. No, see, the contracts only go to 370. So a 350 call, have at it, but not for any time soon. I say that, and I could eat my words very quickly, though. Son of a bitch. So this has a catalyst coming, two, actually. So one, they have earnings, of course, but they have an investor day at the end of the month. The biggest kind of thing that I wanted to see this get through was yesterday, was that the NVIDIA release for the ARM architecture, because I think that's actually like a direct compete for Snapdragon stuff. So CUDA coming to your client is direct compete to Snapdragon on your client. Having gotten through it, I think this goes in the same bucket as a lot of the other things, is that, you know, the entire pie is growing at a rate that we just cannot comprehend. And so what I'll say about Qualcomm right now is at I think it's 233 actually. Let me get back to the chart. 230 here. This is, I guess, a 230. 230.87 was 2024 all-time high, and that is that was a cell phone company. So just like while they tried to take this below 200 for, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on day 7, they rested. They're trying to take this down below all-time highs, 2024 all-time highs of 230, and they've gotten 1, 2, 3 shots. I think that we go 4, 5, 6 shots, and then on day 7, the bears probably again rest, and that is the moment that you see 300. Do you like my story there?
I like the story. I think it makes sense. I think there's so much chatter on the new data center chip that, look, unless Semi's top, I don't see how Qualcomm isn't going to 300. Like if Marvell can do what it's doing.
No, yeah. I have 450 on here. Yeah. This is another one where it's very nearly at my Marvell, and you may or may not know this. So I have a different story, I guess. Where so let's say some more recent buys on 10 baggers or a GE at $30 or whatever. I will trade it through certain levels as it's getting that first ramp up, as that little bull is created. But once it's going, I kind of just stop trading it and just own the stuff. And Qualcomm is very quickly getting into that mode where it's I think 230 can be defended, and the bears are going to try and take her down below that as much. So basically buy this as close to 230 as you can, is my sentiment right now. And and if it goes, once it's in that $300 realm, I quickly shift to I've taken all the profits that I want to take, and I've traded essentially into my core position, and I'm done selling this altogether, and I'm just going to let it go. That happens to everybody. That happened to me at Robinhood, GE. Those are the two more recent ones that I can think of. That you probably had that kind of happen to you in Palantir. Marvell definitely happened. This is, I think, going to get into that mind space where I don't really care when it happens. I just know that it's happening, and I don't really want to trim it because I'm feeling dude, the stars are just too aligned.
SMCI, is this the next Dell type of mover? I mean,
it's those leaps are probably green again, my guy.
Jason recommended SMCI leaps, I think, in November, and it's been a little red, but they're coming back to life.
Yeah. So again, I don't think the story changes. I don't think that the story is different than it was then. Right. To me, I think then it was the same story, even then as in up here.
Yeah, but now the servers are exploding. That's the difference here.
Oh, no. Well, I guess that's what's different to me is then the servers were exploding also. I knew SMCI got getting a $10 billion PO from freaking XAI. I mean, just saying, I know that. And again, it was it had nothing to do with that. It's that okay, these companies are going to clock their best quarters ever. It was about, are they getting new lines of business? Are they able to articulate it? Is their slice of the pie being articulated enough so that the market understands that their slice of the pie is growing? What's still true about this company, and it's a bummer, is that the management team cannot articulate that. I don't even know that they know they need to articulate that. They just go about it in a roundabout fracking wonky ass way. Doesn't change the fact that they are absolutely going to run at record clips for the foreseeable future, and that this is likely an extremely underpriced server stock definitively. And I think that's at this point, the market's just looking past a clunky CEO with a messy management scenario, because I don't think that you can discredit that, and saying, well, it probably doesn't matter anymore because it's just going to be gross when the print actually comes. And I also think that that's true. So, you know, it is what it is. I think this story never went away. And I still feel like if you're in this, I think you're good. This is I don't want to say this, dude, because last time I said something about the stock, you got me in trouble.
I didn't force you to say it.
So I think so. It was on its way to 70 and 85. I think it's going to try and basically get back there. So 70 and then 85 is the trajectory here, if this actually gets through that. And this is basically re-triggering the entire setup from the past.
Yeah.
It's back on. It's back on.
Yeah. Oracle.
Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen.
Jason has such PTSD.
It's so bad, bro.
By the way, MRVL is almost 330 now. This is
okay.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, so Oracle is now in the bear zone, so it's at resistance here ahead of earnings. So congrats, the easy money has been made. Again, easy money into earnings next week has been made. 260 is we're at 250. 240 to 265 was the primary target. This little red box here. You are there. Trade is complete. I want to be very clear here. If you hold on to this through earnings and you get smashed, don't know what to tell you. The move has already been made. Anything from here is like icing on the cake and is fake. This entire move is also fake. So just know that, you know, this is the easy money. Hello, trade into it. That's fine. On a pullback from earnings, this could, if you bought this in the 130s, you're probably not going to see that even on the most horrible earnings dump. I don't think you're going to see that. I think you'd probably see 200s or maybe just slightly below on the worst earnings dump, which is 25% or whatever. I think that's about the worst that we've seen. But from here now, this trade is complete and you kind of just see where it goes. If it's over 275, cool. You have another little blip at 301. But this is how it is, right? So the pre-earnings trade has been made. The money's made. This could still, ahead of earnings, get to 270. And I would not be surprised whatsoever. I don't know why this is that. Yeah. I think she looks good. It would be into 303s on an upside move, potentially 345. And then if you get a full-blown extension, sure, you're in the 500s. But I can't say that until after we talk about earnings, until after we see earnings. Cool.
Okay, last couple, and then we will end out with Bitcoin. Everyone, please make sure to follow Jason again on X and YouTube. Can we do Iren?
I mean, she's trying. You're right into that overhead supply. So I think it's this little blip on the radar here where it broke down at 68. That's your overhead support, and it's getting really tight. So the prior resistance was 62, right? When it broke down here. This is very much like that Corning kind of situation where like you have this, you take one shot. All right. Well, then you have earnings, whatever. And then you get a big pullback and then you get another shot. And maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. In this case, it didn't. It still ran into that overhead resistance. But what's better about this is that this held at 59 and it's really taking a shot. So 1, 2, 3 shots. I think this one, if it pulls back and probably breaches 60 just a little bit, it could actually get as low as 53 on Iren. I think if you see that then you add into this. So I think the Bible dip here on Iran is around as close to 55 as you can, targeting kind of this little I hate when I want to keep the screen wide so that you guys can see the context of the chart, but it's hard sometimes. You can't really see it. So it's this, oops, wrong tool. It's this little wick that happens to be right about 53. And so if this pulls back and you see something again like that, because this is 1, 2, 3 tries. So the next attempt is going to be attempt number 4. And usually after attempt number 3, you have to come in and you have to pick up more buyers, which means a little bit deeper pullback, which could bring you all the way to 53. And I like that. If you see this picking up speed around, if you see this rejection, let it go. And if you see this come back and hit that 53, I think this next one is what would get you to 80, which is where this is going. Because at the end of the day, the whole picture here is more likely to 120s or so, just on a pairs trade, pairs to Nebius, pairs to whatever, a catch-up trade. Real or not, I don't think it matters. But if you see this, I think that this red box here is your support now. And if it acts as support, anything in there is how you build a new group of buyers to push you through that 79 new high. All right.
Keel.
Same thing. Exact same spot. I still would say, like, we talk about these crypto miners and power grabs, and I every time we do it, I'm still going back to Nebius. You want to do like cores, APLD. I think those are better quality. They're going to have your higher floors, if you will. But I'm going to take the timer down also. You're right at resistance. So this is super teeny tiny market cap.
It's about 4 billion right now.
Yeah. I mean, expect it to do what it does. You wanted to ask me about, what is it? What's the other one? Hive?
Yeah. Well, they had earnings recently.
Yeah, might as well. I think this is something similar. Looking, okay, little pullback, do its thing. But like, you want to look at something that's like better? Of course. You tell me. Way freaking fucking better, guys. We talked about
it's a better quality company. It's just,
it's also a power grab. They're all kind of shite.
Yeah,
quality.
but the thing is, the ones that don't have deals, if they announce, just like you've been saying, right? Once you get a deal, and Leopold is 38 million shares of Keel, which is getting people to think.
Is he? I mean,
yeah, he's heavy.
I mean, dude. I would not follow that guy. You can only strike lightning so many times. Dude. What's gonna happen? Oh, I hope this doesn't happen in Nebius.
No, but it's not about striking lightning. It's about, he used to work at OpenAI. His girlfriend's at Anthropic. He understands AI infrastructure better than pretty much every investor I've seen publicly. I mean, no investor has called the AI trade like he has called, which is why he manages $5 billion.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Serenity did.
Yeah, but you also have to be public, have a name, have.
I know. I kid.
Have position sizing. You know, like
yeah.
It can't be
no public
$3 million companies.
No public fund has done it like that.
Yeah, Kathy hasn't done it. Druckenmiller hasn't done it.
No,
I mean, Ackman's definitely not doing it. You know,
well, they don't. And to your point, they don't have the. Wow, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, it's the background, but it's like it's not in their genes. It's not in their DNA.
I don't think they understand AI infra like this guy does. They have analysts that try to help them understand it. You know,
the analysts don't know. They do a good job, but like they know generalizations.
I mean, if the analysts knew something, Dell wouldn't have beat by 50% on EPS. You know,
I mean, yeah. Someone says AMAT. Yeah, you're right. AMAT. Just what a beast of a chart. So I think that there are these charts here that, guys, raging bull market. Like we said, raging bull market at the beginning of April. And it was just like, you can't deny this. And a lot of those names, April here, are still continuing. I don't think that's going to change. This has gone up another 50% since then. I don't think it's going to change. There is another group of companies, though. I don't know how many times you're going to have me say this to the chat and nobody brings this stupid name up. Synaptics, just, yeah, they still have earnings. You're looking at 170 pre-earnings. I'm just saying, get off the horse, move on to the next trade, let the winners win, and move on, right? Keep your runners, but if you don't make a shift right here, right now, to what is specifically the client side edge, you have about 3 weeks or you're going to miss the whole trade again. So I think that's my bigger thing that I would leave the group with, is that there is another group of companies that Amit has been alluding to, and I'm deadly serious about this, that like has not begun and is at the very early stages of reversing. The signs are clear and they're becoming more and more undeniable. You got to wake up, right? So there's yeah. If you want to trade, just trade. But there are many more opportunities out there that are just, they're either continuation for a next leg. This is like VFV, AMKR. So many more companies that are like yet to really go. This is a new company. And things that you haven't ever heard of that are about to make like another parabolic move.
But once again, the caveat what Jason is saying, you have to have the stomach to want to buy these random companies that are in the biggest parts of this industrial build out over an Oracle, which is a household name, you know?
Yeah. I mean, there are other companies. We talked about Generac last week. We got a headline today. And this is another one where like I could say, look, last week I said Generac, if you wanted to do a power company that was absolutely real and actually has the real customers that are locking in and are actually doing legitimate deals, it is Generac. No, it's not a small cap, right? Like it's 15 billion, but at 10, 15 billion, that's also the Goldilocks spot. So hello, don't sleep. You got another headline today. This is just compounding on itself. This is even earlier than Iran and whatever. But I think, let me see. I don't know how, I think we'll probably do something. Can we do something later for them? I know at a certain point. What do you do? Downloads, Control J. Yeah. At a certain point, you definitely want to go through and say, hey, look, even just from today, here's what Jensen said. Take a computing problem, disaggregate it, and optimize it. This is what's happening. Every name on this sheet we've talked about at nauseum. This is actually the first time I'm putting this out somewhere. These are not market caps. These are how much revenue these companies have actually captured, and stuff. Some of them are not. This is drafty. But MRVL, Astera, Credo, we don't talk about these names every day. Like MTSI, right? Semtech, if you don't know. There are very small companies, but also big companies that have a lot of room to go. Skyworks. Every name on this has moved, but there's a whole nother, what we're talking about, client side AI at the endpoint. That's, who knows what that company is, that are absolute. It's a whole nother ecosystem that's extending. Yeah, Siva is like your arm of client side. It's a little wild, but anyways, there's a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of trades to be had, and guys, it is a raging bull market. I will just say that. And regardless of whether or not you ride the current trend or you find the next wave, I think you're going to be fine. But I wouldn't get too scared about being overstretched on certain things, and likely take the opportunities on dips to kind of DCA into things that you don't mind owning for a long time.
Yeah, and I will also pair it with Jason's been saying. Part of the reason I started to learn more about trading is because I just wanted to learn more about something, and I'm looking at charts all day, and I thought I could maybe apply those skill sets. But B is also because it really helps with FOMO. Like, yeah, you might not make all the money off of a MRVL, but if you can get a piece of the action, whether it's through options like Jason or through me, which is more so swing trading the actual shares, then the momentum is there. Like today with MRVL, the momentum was there, and you take your little piece of the pie, and maybe if you hold on, it's going to go to the moon, but maybe it's not. But the point is, like, when Jason says it's a raging bull market, you need volatility and you need upside momentum to participate in the raging bull, even if you don't get the exact bottom, which most people don't. And as Jason said, you don't need to get the bottom on a BlackBerry. If BlackBerry is going to 20 and you get it at 11, who cares if you didn't get it at 7, right?
Yeah.
But that also means there's a small portion of your account that's dedicated to trying to allocate to those plays.
Yeah, I think, and that's how I do it. I think that's how most people I know do it, is that they separate those buckets of money. We don't trade with like your investing account. We don't. You trade with the trading account. No, like that's definitely not. The purpose of trading. I mean, for me, I'm maybe a little bit unique because when you get good enough, you can trade into an investment, but in reality, you trade so that you can invest, and you take those trading profits and you compound them in your investments, and knowing how to trade long term, right? Which doesn't mean trade with your investments. It's not the same thing.
Dude, every single profit I made from trading, I take it out of my Tasty trade and throw it right into my long-term Robinhood account, because I don't even want it to be stuck in my trading account and have a chance to lose it, because it should be going back to compounding long-term wealth, which is
100%. And that is exactly how this works, right? And there are different trades for different people, but I think at the end of the day, that's the goal, is to learn how to trade. And that's hopefully what you guys are learning watching the Tuesday streams. But with those extra profits, compound in some good investments over time. Like, Amit picked Apple for his stock draft. There's a reason that he picked Apple, because it's right.
Because Jason is so bullish on it. So I was like,
what the hell? No,
it's
but
helped. It helped a lot. Okay, I'll be right back. Can we do Netflix? I'll be back in like 2 minutes. And then we'll finish.
Yeah, we could take it. So Netflix is not. So there are a couple stocks out there that I will say, and this is also why I'm like, okay, the market in general, I have a hard time seeing how we don't continue for certain things. In general, there are a lot of items out there that look very good. I'm going to clean up this Netflix chart. So 75 was that last move. Honestly, Netflix, it's just not in the right theme at the moment, which is fine. I think it's going to be. At this point, I think it's come down too far to say that it's going to save itself. Yeah, no. I think at this point, we're probably going to see nearly those lows. If you want to try to be a sniper, there's a little, I don't know if I want to call it a trick. There's a little thing that I will do a lot, is like, I'll pick, if this is the last low right here, I'm going to find not necessarily this low, but the low before the last low, which happens to be that low. And so what you do is just kind of like draw a quick, I can even do like a totally horizontal line. And so that's about $82 roughly right there. And yeah, I like this 82. 82 is fine. I think at this point, this is probably going to retrace the entire 82.50 thing, but this is where that deal, I think, really came out. So in this area, if you like Netflix, look, you needed this to get over 90. It didn't happen. So this becomes your next kind of zone of interest. So we're going to call this, what I call this is a price of interest. And I think that's a little bit more clarifying than buy. It's just a price of interest. So at $82, I think you begin to watch it. That's where that real expansion became. But anything below that, you could probably slowly DCA. What I will remind people that don't maybe remember is that 75 was my first spot that I was willing to take a shot on for Netflix. I think if this doesn't hold the 75, then the real support on Netflix is actually closer to 60. And that is support from 2022 low to 2024 high. And that's only if and only if 75 doesn't hold. I think you have to buy it at 60. I mean, you don't have to do anything, but I think 60 is like, I'm buying it and I don't really care what's happening.
Here's my question on Netflix. Is it a mistake when there's all these AI infra plays to buy Netflix, which doesn't have an AI narrative? Although you're right that the valuation on Netflix is very attractive.
It's not a mistake. Yeah. So like, is it a mistake? No. And I was kind of, when you were gone, part of what I was saying is like, there are a lot of things that are setting up like this, like a Palantir, like a Robinhood. I'll give you another one. Boeing. You know, I like Boeing a lot. So let me tie off on Netflix is that 75 as close to, so 82 is the watch area first, down to 75 is your general support. But if 75 gets broken, don't buy that. It'll just flush down, let it flush by itself and get it under 60, just slightly under 60 or as close to 60 as you can. And then it's a long wait, I think, on that one. Boeing is somewhat similar, whereas this chart is extreme long time. So, I mean, we're talking probably one of the most complex charts out there, quite frankly. But what I'll say is like, you have this top here, that's over 400. Then you have a low down here, that's like sub 100. That's COVID lows. And then you have like a general, what do I do? Like this general trend line that's actually been broken from that perspective. And you have what we actually call like a broadening formation, which is from here up and here down. So you have all this, and the general consolidation, the majority of the money that's been traded on Boeing is right around this 210 to 200 area. And you can kind of see like, hey, look, it's a blip here. When I see a setup like this, which near term looks kind of wonky, you know, your head and shoulders, you guys know me, like, what do I always say about these head and shoulder patterns? They're the most bullish setup is when a bearish pattern fails to trigger, is that I would be a buyer of Boeing sub probably 210. And something like this, because of the re-rate story here, this actually has potential to be in the $400 stock category. Again, it really, really does. And that's on a cash flow perspective, but just returning to the prior support is closer to 320 on Boeing, which is a pretty attractive. If you get 200 to 300, there are a lot of setups like this. This is not the theme, right? This is not the storyline of the market right now. There's no question that this is out of trend. It's not what you should be looking at. But at the same time, there are these setups that are actually starting to play out. And you're like, oh, okay, this starts to get interesting. So maybe on days where the AI trade is not the trend, or maybe it's gotten a little bit too hot, too heavy, I still look at these situations and be like, okay, on a Netflix, on the big profit taking days of the AI trades, I would expect Netflix to be up probably significantly that day. And I think they start to inverse the market because of the scenario that we're in. But the process of that, because the AI trade is so strong and so prevalent and so consensus, that what we'll probably see is people just starting to like slowly nibble and throw their trading profits from the AI mega boom stocks into like your ServiceNow, your Netflix, your CRM, your Intuits, and your Boeings, which slowly rises the tide across the board, but is ultimately healthy also.
Okay, let's end it off, folks. Let's end it off with Bitcoin. I just saw a good tweet, and I agree with it. Bitcoin won't recover, or crypto won't come back until $200 billion companies stop trading like meme coins. Would you agree with that?
No. So like, I wouldn't, but I would agree that that is exactly why Bitcoin's doing what it's doing right here, right now. 100%. No question in my mind that people are frustrated holding Biddy for so long with all these empty promises of you know, Sailor. Yeah, I think they're frustrated, and maybe justifiably so. I don't know.
Yeah, but don't you think the liquidity is also going to? I mean, if MRVL can move like this,
100%.
I think that's the biggest issue with Bitcoin, right? Like no one cares about it, which is
Nope.
normal in this cycle, right?
Yeah, 100% normal. Also, what I would say is likely going to create the opportunity in itself. So I just adjusted this to like all-time lows or like on the chart 2018 lows here. I should probably go to like exception lows on this setup. So then we have to do that basically at this point. So that 65 level, you guys may or may not remember that. That was over here. I think the first time we had Amit buying it was like, I think we had him snipe one of these two lows, one of those two. And it was for this setup coming into the 120s. And this is the setup here now. I think that if we get the drawdown, dude, I hate saying things like, how do I say this? I think this is creating an opportunity. I just do. Support is between 65 and 45 though. So as we come into this, just watch. And the 65, I don't know that 65 holds, but I still hold my sentiment that this is 100K sooner than later. But it might end up being like SMCI, whereas like, all right, well, it still goes to 100K, but it goes to 40K first. Right? And I think that I would not worry about it, honestly, because I would not do any kind of leverage. I would just start probably right now. This is where I would begin. Unfortunately, not up here, but anything in this area, well, honestly, anything in this area, what is that? 69 to 45?
It's a big range.
Does it? But that's why I'm saying dollar cost average slowly.
But let me ask you this. But before we get deeper into the technicals, have you at all lost your faith and belief that Bitcoin as an asset class itself will be incredibly valuable over the next century? You have lost some of that faith.
Oh yeah. But like I lost that over here, bro.
No, I know, and we know your story about it, and you ended up selling a little too early. But in general, do you think, we ask this every cycle, but do you think there's a world in which we move on as a society and Bitcoin was an experiment and no one gives a shit about it in 10 years and Saylor's experiment failed, or do you think that is too extreme and that's what people say at the bottom?
Yeah, I think that is what people say at the bottom. And because of that, that is what's making me interested, because I'm seeing that happen. You buy the fear, right? Like I'm seeing and I'm hearing the frustration. Is it Grant Cardone? I'm selling my Botcoin. I was like, wait a second, is he actually talking about Botcoin or is he talking about Bitcoin? Pretty sure he actually meant Bitcoin, but like after he just bought it, and I was like, okay, I see that. That's fine. But like that, I think they were sold a dream at the wrong time. I don't feel like I sold anybody the dream at the wrong time, but I would say that like this moment here now, and I've kind of been saying that since about 70K, from here down to 45, I think you can slowly start to add. And I'm not opposed to it anymore. Like not at that point, especially if I saw like 50s, like, dude, this can go to 30s. Like the bottom of the cycle is an 80% drawdown. Typically we're in a crypto winter, no question about it. Right. An 80% drawdown is like 25, 30K. It's possible. Right. But from here moving forward, the blood on the streets, I think you could probably use to throw a little profit at and do the same kind of thing. Saylor, I don't think Saylor gets liquidated until it's 30K or maybe less than 30K. I think his liquidation point, he does have one.
No, he says it's like it could go to $1 and he'll be fine. That's what he says.
Well, that's why he reformatted the thing. But what I will say about this
30K would be 2020. Like if the S&P is at almost 8,000 and Bitcoin's at 30K, that is going to be crazy.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I mean, it's already crazy. We're at all-time highs and Bitcoin is down, but it's like for it to fall by 50% from here and for the S&P to just go up. The market cap on Bitcoin, by the way, is not even that high. It's like 1.5 billion. It's not crazy.
Yeah. So you're gonna get a liquidation candle right now. Like you're getting just wait for the Tom Lee tweet of what did he say?
What tweet? What Tom Lee tweet?
The manipulation about Ethereum or crypto.
You mean the glitch tweet?
Glitch. Wait, where's the glitch tweet? Because I'm telling you guys right now, it's glitching right now. It's glitching as we speak. It's a glitch. It's a glitch. Like right now, it's in a glitch moment. That's what it is.
Yeah, this is
It's a glitch.
The problem is they launched treasury companies at the top of the cycle, which is what you would expect to happen.
At the top of the cycle. Yeah. I did say something like that, didn't I?
You did.
I mean, just Coinbase IPO'd at the high or something like that. And marked the high. They did it again, boys and girls. Anyways.
BMNR is a small position in the portfolio, but every day when I look at it, I'm like, I just want to clear this from the portfolio.
You haven't done it yet? Oh, you just start selling. You need to start selling. So if the only way to do that realistically is to start selling in the money calls, which
like weekly in the money calls.
So like, but it's a little high. It's a little low now, right?
Well, there's nothing now. I mean,
okay.
I'm more of the mindset of just take the tax loss harvest and move on from it. But I also, but it's also like, dude, is this Ethereum going to 1,000? Like, what is like?
Oh, I would. Let's see. It's glitching. It's glitching.
If Bitcoin's gonna glitch to 30, this thing's going to shit. Like,
I'm not saying it glitch to 30. I don't know that it would glitch to 30.
I don't think it would glitch to 30 either. I feel like maybe low 60s and then we get a bounce, but
Ethereum could glitch. Oh, wait. You haven't been around for a glitch on ETH yet.
Well, I experienced this 4,500 to 2,000.
No. So a real glitch on Ethereum is like $150.
Yeah, that would be bad.
That
would be ugly. Oh, S&P just turned red after hours. We're getting MRVL's stopped going up 3% every 5 minutes.
Oh, stop that.
Oh, BlackBerry just fell $1. AMD just fell. Palo Alto just fell.
You jinxed it.
I didn't jinx shit, bro. Everything was going up today. This is Saylor. He's selling more big. Is there a war headline? Do we have one?
There's got to be something. So I know that a lot of large money people, like, let's call it like a Cuban or somebody like that, who like would have been
real quick, Jason, IRGC has announced they are retaliating due to a U.S. attack on an island. In response to the U.S. attack on the Keshem Island, the IRGC Air Force has struck U.S. military bases in Kuwait with precise and intensive missiles. Crude's at 95. Okay, that's your headline, folks.
Well,
that'll stop that MRVL shit real quick. That'll stop that MRVL shit.
We're long VG and next.
Oh
my God. I feel like I need to get in this. Okay, so I just don't know that the chart goes that low, but like I feel like it. So a glitch on ETH is like 150 or so, but to me it's like this. I think we see 1795 on ETH, and that's kind of a given. But I don't want to. Again, I don't want to jump into it right now. Like this is where I stop buying. Like if I was buying here, I stop buying right now, and I don't liquidate. I don't do any of that, right? I just watch. And can we get another moment like this? It's very possible. But 1795 is the level. I do not think that you should go out and buy it because I'm telling you it's the level. It is the level. What I need to see, and I think this sets up to be, is like I could see this, and like meaning at 1950, if we're back up over 1950, or maybe even depending on how short of time frame you could trade. Dude, I trade these stupid event contracts on Robinhood twice now. This thing has clapped me both times, and if I was doing a trade, I would have banked. Like the way that those things work suck. Yeah. So, anyways, if it comes down and you get like a wick out like that, okay. So 1795 to 1950, great. Nobody cares about 1950. That's a big whoopsies moment. Like this needs to be doing something like this. Over 1950. At that point, I get a trade into 25. It's not until it's like really, if it's over 2550 ETH, then it's really on the mend. But the problem is on this last bounce, I kind of highlighted that same thing. And that's exactly where we stopped. Same thing with Bitcoin is like, I had a level 25. And it was kind of like, if we can't get there, it's going to be kind of sad. And we started to see it really on, was it Memorial Day? Not Memorial Day, whatever the last holiday was, Memorial Day, where I was like, oh, you would think that there would be some more crypto volume. And there wasn't. And it just showed me like, dude, the appetite for crypto is not really there. That said, I think it's all at an interesting spot. There are actually some cryptos that do very well right now. Like there are some cryptos that are just going nowhere but up and to the right. It's very, you have to know what to look for, and they're not your typical ones. But I mean, well, you've brought me some like Hive.
Yeah, but I don't know if this one's legit.
No, I know. But
they have transitioned. Yeah, to your point.
Why does this not look right to me? That's not the right one.
No, that's not the right one.
What is it?
It's Hive Technologies, I think. Yeah, on the NASDAQ, HIV.
It's a different one. But it's the hyper liquid. God.
Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah. Well, this is what I mean. Like there are cryptos that are doing well. That's crypto. So Hyperliquid, it's a platform though. Overall, I mean, I say this now and it probably tanks after I put this on up there.
Well, this is broken out because there's actually a use case for Hyperliquid.
Yeah,
if Bitcoin goes to 30, I don't know if this can.
It's just the traction that they're getting on the DEX. Like is it actually getting traded? Right? Like there's one, somebody brought it up to me, like we saw this was a couple of them, like nears. I don't know, I haven't really looked at this. No, it's at the lows.
No, but you're not trading any altcoins right now because the stocks are just so exciting that the old.
Would that happen to me like years ago? And that like, because again, like my
even in 2024, you were looking at Avalanche and stuff like that stuff.
I still have it. Yeah, I still have it. It hasn't gone anywhere. Like Avalanche is like, dude, like Avalanche is my one bag that's left on crypto. Period. Like one large bet, but like it's basically like hasn't gone anywhere for years. And like I've basically taken so many profits on all the other bets that like this is just the last one left that I didn't really take profits on. So like, you know, okay, it is what it is. Yeah. This could stop right here, right now, and I wouldn't be surprised. But these situations of like, here's that breakout, it could be, this is a very bearish look. I'm not going to lie. It's very, very, very bearish look. But if this bearish setup fails, that's how you get bullish. And I would rather be a buyer in that, like blood on the street, than up here. So I don't mind it. Like, I don't mind it at all. Look at, they started to buy it. There's a little, is it glitching again? Is there a green bar? Let me zoom in on a 15-second here. You guys don't have these charts. You don't know about the 15-second chart.
Marvell is only at 321. What nonsense is this after hours? It was at 330.
Yeah.
That's the dip, bro. That's our dip. We gotta get some money together. Buy this.
Dude, your
315
315 cost basis is still up. You're still green, bro.
Whoever said their average was 307 in the chat,
They're
you're up.
still green.
Okay, so overall, kind of to take away from the session, AI build-out theme is strong, S&P looks strong, market momentum is strong, earnings growth is strong, crypto is weak, but you think nibbling here is not crazy, and then the Metas, Microsofts, you think they're fine. They're just not directly inside of AI CapEx right now.
Correct, which is why I'd be more concerned about like an Oracle kind of thing. I think that we've gone a bit, and I think we can still go a little bit more, but at the end of the day, across the board, I think you don't want to sleep on this stuff. I think that there is an inflection in 2026 this year. And I think that you have a small window of entry, which is what I've been talking about, generally speaking, that this is consensus from a data center perspective. Inference is consensus. What's not consensus and what's coming is the edge, right? And that is like AI on device kind of edge, regardless. Like, how do you make inference cheaper, faster, private on devices in general? This is the first inning of this round here, right? And while I don't think that the data center goes away. I don't think that the inference goes away at all. I think this is actually like inning 3. This is maybe like inning 5. This is like, we're just starting the warm-up pitching right now. And so what's cool about that is that I just don't think that, I know I had it here. In this ecosystem, there's actually not a single player like NVIDIA, where like NVIDIA just dominates the vast majority of the data center, like at this point. And I think that's kind of consensus also. But at the edge, on device inference and actual compute, there is no single player that no single mega cap that dominates the edge the way that NVIDIA dominated. You can't see that. No single player that dominates the edge the way that NVIDIA dominated data center training, which I think creates a very unique kind of opportunity. So yeah, I think this is where you start to go if you haven't already. I think this is a story that's just now starting to become a thing. Marvell is part of it, but it's not the only part. And in the meantime, raging bull market. Crazy.
All right. That is Mr. Jason. I'm linking his Twitter right here in the chat, his YouTube as well. You can follow him here. We will see him next Tuesday.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to be in New York. Can you show them that?
In August?
I posted something. That was like the last post.
I
forgot to post about Tuesday.
So I am not going to be at this event.
Yeah, I know. But if they wanted to see me,
will be. So he's going to be at the Wolf Summit.
Look at that guy.
Look at this guy, bro. He's a featured speaker.
All 3 of me will be there.
It's going to be great. All 3 of you. And yeah, so he'll be there at the Wolf Summit NYC. This is what, August?
Yeah, that one is sponsored by public, but you don't have to have a public account. You can. I think if you put like $30 or something like that in a public account and use your same email to register for the event that you have registered with public, then it's like $250 or something like that. But it's not just me. It's like Einstein's going to be there of Wall Street. Peter Tuchman, how do you say it? Peter's going to be there. Vishal's going to be there. Stock Talk. the guy Scott Redler is going to be there, but we're actually doing trainings. It's a little bit different than normal.
Yeah, should be fun in New York. Broadcom and CrowdStrike tomorrow. I'm not going to be there for that, but we will cover it on Thursday. Again, Jason's Twitter right here. Dude, do you own any of those Broadcom?
Yeah, I ended up owning CrowdStrike. Yes, but from significantly lower. And like I trade into my positions, so like, and a lot of that is kind of what we do in the group too. So you guys will see, if you're part of our community, then you'll see how I trade into positions, and then build a core. But yeah, I own a little bit of CrowdStrike for sure. I own like a little bit of Broadcom, but they're not like core positions at all. I would say like CrowdStrike, I'm probably not going to bet on this for the earnings side, but I'm not going to hedge it either because I just don't care. It's not that big of a position. But yeah, there are a lot of the biggest position I've been building into. Like, I would say Qualcomm, but that one just took off. Like I think that's fine. But like the ones that are still available, I still think Synopsys is available. Cadence is now at all-time highs. That was one of those stocks that we were like laughing about. That's at all-time highs. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, but join the group, you'll see. There's a lot of things that we haven't gone through also today, in terms of charts and things. So if you guys want to stop by my YouTube, I'll start doing that a little bit more often. I think we might do a live trading session, but we'll see. Yeah, he's good. Lots of opportunity for sure. Is that Evan?
That is indeed Mr. Evan. There
Well,
he is.
Evan's also going to be doing a face reveal in New York.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for that. Evan will
Actually
be doing a face reveal in New York.
Yeah,
that'll be fun.
Actually, face reveal.
All right, folks. Thank you all for joining. We'll be back tomorrow for the market open.
Love you guys.
Keep going from there. Thank you, everybody. See you guys tomorrow.
Peace.